welcome back to Splice and Splatter, the film podcast presented by
us,
where classic horror
meets modern gore.
Now we can finally tell people.
I know. You guys have, I don't know if you guys have noticed the intro change
We've been
the last couple.
hints.
Yeah, but we are officially owners.
The
owners of the podcast.
Yeah,
it's
it's
our baby. Our true baby now.
We've
now birthed it. Siena?
It's officially out.
We're dads.
Oh, God, that feels like exactly the right
Co-parenting
way
dads.
to start this conversation. Yeah,
yeah.
Also, especially with both of these films, so much about bad dads
Oh my God,
in
yeah.
both films.
I mean,
That's,
truly, that's the theme.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've been breadcrumbing,
Yeah.
we've been hinting, and now we officially can say some
we
changes.
wanted to tell you earlier, we couldn't because we had to make sure all of the paperwork stuff was in place first.
Yeah.
But now that it's official,
Yeah, so that's the changes. So we are me and Siena are now self-funding.
Yes,
Which is a little scary.
It's frightening, but
podcast.
which is why we've also been breadcrumbing. We really appreciate all of you who have begun to support us over the past couple months. Shout out to Holly Hazmat.
Yeah, thanks, Holly.
Thank you, Holly.
You've been there
We adore
since
you.
the start.
Truly, yeah. Holly is an amazing drag queen. If y'all aren't already following Holly's work, all of the horror looks. So
I would say,
good.
lots of
Freddy
horror.
Krueger is amazing.
So go follow
Go
Holly,
follow
and also
Holly.
thank you, Holly.
And also thank you, Holly, and also follow in Holly's footsteps,
Yes.
please.
yeah. So we're one of the things that we're trying to do. We're gonna blab a little bit before we get into our episode, but
this is why we told you it's gonna be heavier on the personal this episode.
Yeah.
But we'll save some of it for the end, but we're giving you the highlights now.
Yeah. So we're gonna look at Siena's gonna work on helping get our notes up. So we're gonna do some more bonus content for all of you that are able to support. I'm highlighting able to because it's tough out there right now. So I don't want anyone to feel pressured.
Yeah.
Like we say, sharing is also really helpful, and listening and downloading is extremely helpful.
And the most important bottom line is we're not going anywhere. If
I am.
Yeah, well, literally, Al is.
We're so chaotic in this intro.
This is so us.
It's just there's so many things to say, guys.
Yeah, where do we even start?
I will be moving. So we will be a New Mexico, Michigan production.
Who could have guessed?
Who could have guessed that one with all the times I've talked about Michigan? Honestly, not me.
That's so
never
funny.
in a million years would I think.
As I said in the group chat yesterday, did watching Barbarian teach you nothing, Al?
No, I really want to go live out my own Detroit horror dreams myself. I really want to find a cavern. I want to save the little baby angel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You and Mother just.
I'll
down
take
there
her
in the
bottle.
cellar.
Yeah.
Not
with the hair. Not with the hair. But yeah. So we will be again for those of you who listen, nothing is absolutely going to change. For those of you watching, we're going to keep our red vibe, our red curtains.
The lighting staying the same, the background staying the same. The only thing that's going to be different is that we're not recording in the same physical room.
Yeah. But other than that,
it's going to be
looking to do pop-ups still. So Siena will be holding the fort, doing pop-ups
here in Santa Fe, and it'll also give us the freedom to do more stuff in Albuquerque too, which I'm really excited for.
The Guild, everybody bully the Guild,
please.
And then everyone in Michigan, let me know where you want to see us doing pop-ups there. And then so open. I think we're open to more things for you guys, and we get to share a little bit more about ourselves, and it's not be so kind of tied to one entity, which is nice.
I know, particularly because this has been part of our day job essentially. I think we've been very careful about not presenting much of our opinions about the films, about we're representing somebody else, and now that we're just representing ourselves,
oh gosh, buckle up.
We can be so much more chaotic.
So those are the big updates.
I know, I want to do some Patreon stoned film theory rant corner.
You guys have been asking for that. You guys will see more of us.
So
nice.
I know I'm obviously personally sad that I won't be here in the room with you anymore, but also it's gonna give us, we're spreading our tendrils farther across the country, which is exciting.
It hasn't hit me yet. So this episode will be going up while Yeah, I'll
just
be in a
settling
different, yeah,
in.
just settling
Yeah.
in. So it'll be very
Which,
weird.
and that's the other thing is like I made a feature film without us dropping an episode. We're managing this move, I think,
Yeah,
without
we
dropping an
are. Guys,
episode.
you won't,
So
again, you guys
you will
haven't,
not
you know
notice
nothing.
any difference. By the time you're hearing this, it's already happened.
Yeah, it's like kind of crazy.
Yeah.
We've slammed these ones. So this is going to be like a little bit, well, we can kind of jump into the episode. These
Yeah.
are kind of perfectly a little bit shorter.
Yeah,
I actually couldn't find a ton on mine, but we're doing I wrote on my Instagram after like a bottle of wine, a
Good.
merry little Cusack-mas or
Yeah,
whatever. You
yeah,
wrote Cusack-mas. Merry little
Cusack-mas, yeah.
Cusack.
Which then I can't remember who it was, but somebody wrote us and said that they misread it as
Liz.
Cuck-mas. Yeah,
That was
it
Liz. Shout out
yeah,
Liz.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out Liz. Which I then thought about it and I was like, should I change this? And then I was like, no, we're independent now, baby. You
Yeah.
can think it's Cuck-mas all you want.
It truly is. These were so
It was so perfect for
fun.
this. Yeah, like again, especially with all of the like external chaos going on, it felt nice to bring it back to some early 2000s
I
Owl
know.
era classics.
I was gonna say you did 2007.
2007, which is your year.
Yeah, I was shocked. So yeah, Identity in 1408.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how close they were in time. I love these movies.
And it was such a good pairing. I hadn't seen Identity, so I knew essentially nothing about it before watching. I'd had like
so
part of the twist spoiled for me, just part of it.
Bummer.
But, like I'm getting into spoilers.
Yeah,
Spoiler
this
alert.
is a spoiler heavy.
Yeah, there's no way to
episode,
talk. I mean,
so
again,
go watch
horror
them.
film in general, no way to talk about it without spoilers. But these two in particular,
Yeah.
Like I knew
The end
that
is everything.
Yeah, I knew that John Cusack was the killer, quote unquote.
Oh,
I didn't know the last part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like there were
Yeah.
still things that I didn't know.
One last little
One
twist,
last
and
little
then the
twist.
last
Yeah.
little twist, which
Yeah.
people don't like that one. I think it's hilarious.
Did not like it either.
It's not good.
It's terrible.
It's not good.
I did laugh at it though.
Yeah.
Like it was funny. Which
It's
I also have to
supposed
say
kind of be funny.
both of these films really funny actually in so
Yeah.
many ways. Like especially this is my this is my second time seeing 1408
Oh,
and
It's dense.
it's dense, but it's also like it's so got the Stephen King specific sense of humor. The just like wry, done with the world, done with writers.
Which
like
is like, if we can take a moment to talk about
Yeah.
Cusack, I think Identity was the first real like thriller
I was
movie he was
wondering
in.
because he's such a rom-com guy in
Yeah.
the early part of his
Like
career.
he's got such that edge to him
Yeah.
that he's so perfect for roles like this where he is just like over it. Like I don't think anyone plays over it and
As
annoyed
well.
better than he
Yeah,
does.
he's
so naturally.
There
so.
is such an exhaustion to him in both of these movies.
That's
It's
so
just
relatable.
Perfect. Yeah. Again,
Yeah.
especially for this moment in
Yeah.
our lives, the exhaustion.
Yeah.
So relatable.
And he's so hammy too. So I
yeah.
think these are funny
They're
movies. They're
really
meant to have
funny,
funny moments.
yeah.
But boy, yours makes me cry at the end there.
Wait, okay. So
Yeah.
this is like it's not a proper tidbit, but this was like my little like conversation prompt that I brought in.
Yeah, I don't have a tidbit, so go for it.
How did the version of 1408 that you watched end?
Oh my god, now you just made me blank. How did yours end? And I'll let you know if it was the
Because
same.
there are 4 versions of
Oh,
the ending
fuck.
of this
What
movie.
platform did you watch it on?
I watched it on Amazon.
Is that what we? Oh god, we're
Peacock. Okay.
Oh, so we might have gotten different versions.
Starter question: does he live or die at the end?
He
of
lives.
yours? Okay, so you watched the same. We watched the theatrical cut, quote unquote.
Of course, it was the theatrical cover.
However, that's actually the one that the director prefers to the quote unquote director's cut.
Really?
But
What's
we'll
the
get into it.
Okay. Oh shit.
Yeah, I'll walk you through all 4 different versions of the ending.
Oh fuck.
Plus a bonus one.
We kind of both have a
Are
similar,
there
but
different endings to yours too?
kind of. I'll allude
it
to
feels
it.
like
Yeah,
one
yeah,
that I can
yeah.
imagine there are alts for.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll,
So also,
we'll get there.
for all of you all out there, if you like me first watched 1408 sometime in the period between like 2007 when it came out and I think 2021, it's quite likely that the version you saw did not have the same ending as the one that we saw.
I had no idea.
Hmm.
Now I'm like gaslighting myself if the other times I've seen it, because if it's like 1408 has so many like false endings
Right.
that I don't ever remember him.
Yeah, I was trying desperately to remember which ending I'd seen
Yeah.
originally, and it was only when I watched this theatrical ending that
Yeah.
it was like, I don't think that's the one I saw.
Funny.
Because it left me with a very different feeling. But I
Yeah.
don't actually remember having seen the director's cut.
I used to own the DVD too, and I'm wondering too if I've
There's 2 different versions, yeah.
Damn.
So we'll get into it.
Really just
Yeah.
gaslight.
I mean,
It really
technically
makes you
4,
feel
but
crazy.
two different majorly released versions.
That's so crazy. That's
So,
funny. Yeah, put a pin in
yeah,
that.
put a pin in
We'll
that.
get to for both of ours. We'll get to
Yeah.
that point in mine too.
So lead us into
should we do-
Identity.
So you haven't seen
Yeah.
Identity before?
I had not seen it before.
What was your? So you kind of knew something.
I knew something. I
Yeah.
knew, but again, I was like, I tried. The only reason I knew that was because when we were discussing like what pairings can we do while Al is moving,
Yeah.
I like did a quick Google to see like A, is there enough on both of these
Yeah,
films,
yeah.
and B, is there too much on both of
Yeah.
these films? Because we
Yeah,
were like,
yeah.
we need an episode that like
Feels like-
has enough meat to be worthy of doing
Mhm.
a full episode, but not so much that we feel like in the midst of everything going on,
We're like
not
each
gonna
have
be able to do it
16 pages.
justice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were both like the perfect amount, but like I just did a quick search
Mhm.
to see is there enough, and found like basically one fact about each of our films, and mine was that there were different endings, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, that'll be something to talk about,
Yeah.
but that's not so much that I won't be able to
Yeah.
bite it off. And for yours, what had I seen for yours? For yours, I had seen that there's like this weird controversy with the movie adaptation.
Yes. We'll talk about that. I have
Yeah.
quotes from the director on that,
And so
which
just,
I had no idea.
just seeing that was enough, and like seeing a little bit about what that was about spoiled just the Cusack twist for me.
Got it.
But that was all I knew.
Yeah.
So and like
Oh.
because of that, I was like, oh no, I've already had it spoiled. Well, now I need to shut it down and not read anything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
So I had no idea that I didn't know all of the twists. I
Yeah.
thought I knew all of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. They
So
keep coming. Did you?
I liked it up until the last 5 minutes, and then I was
That's
yeah.
you're with everybody.
Okay,
You're
fantastic.
fine.
Yeah,
You're in
great,
good company
great.
with that, really.
Yeah.
I always forget it does that too. And it's just
Yeah.
like
It's just so silly.
it's
so
silly,
silly.
and I get it. They wanted to put like a button on it, but it's
Yeah,
just like
but it's
it was
not
so
the right
unnecessary.
button.
Me and you, we
Yeah.
like a certain type of ending.
Absolutely.
We like it
yeah.
to be morbid
Yes,
and
which I'm
a little like you don't know what's going on. Leave it to your
Exactly, which,
imagination.
again, put a pin in that for the alt endings for
okay,
mine.
yeah.
But
I love those
um,
endings. Almost
yeah.
for everything.
agreed. And so like especially because I think horror, there's basically 3 different kinds of horror endings, right?
Mm.
There's like the main character dies and everything's doomed.
Mhm,
There's the final girl survives and there's like a sense of hope.
mhm.
And then there's you think you've gotten out, but something happens at the
Yeah.
last second.
Yeah,
And I think
yeah.
I always tend to gravitate towards the you think you've gotten out, but something happens at the last second, because it
Yeah.
makes it feel like the horror continues off the screen.
Yeah.
However, this wasn't the right something.
Yeah.
It
yeah.
and I think part of it was that it felt like the kid had already been a red herring earlier in the movie.
Oh, sure.
And had the kid not been a red herring earlier in the movie, I think I would have had more fun with it. But I
Yeah.
was like, you already eliminated that suspect.
yeah. Yeah.
Which I get is part of what it was trying to do, but it just made me mad. Apart from that, though, I thought the performances were strong for the
Oh,
most
yeah,
part.
they
I
were
thought, I mean,
amazing.
like Cusack especially.
Yeah.
I thought the editing was really interesting. The freeze frames didn't always work for me, but apart from that,
They're not my
it's
favorite.
very
They're
2003.
funny.
It's
That's
very
what's like
2003. Yeah.
there
But
were
it-
there's so many freeze frames, and it starts
Yeah.
like basically
right
with the
from the
freeze. It's
beginning,
like
yeah.
okay, can we like
Mhm.
lead up to this?
Yeah, there must be like at least 15 over the
At
course of the
least.
movie.
Everyone gets one.
Everyone gets a freeze. You get a freeze frame,
And
and
you
you get a freeze frame.
frame. Yeah.
Everybody gets a freeze frame.
It's fine.
It's fine. But the pace of it, I really admired. Like it really. I have a terrible habit when watching movies of checking to see how far I am into the movie.
Oh,
not
I avoid that specifically.
interesting.
Yeah, if
Mostly-
I pause it, I have to blind myself.
That's fascinating, and it's completely out of not being interested, but out of like screenwriter curiosity of like at
Where
what
are we?
point is this specific beat falling, especially if there's like a big plot beat. I'm like, how far in are we?
Yeah.
And I remember checking it like 40 minutes in and being like, I thought we were still in the first 15, because like so
Oh.
much happens
Yeah.
so fast that
I love that.
Yeah. So really impressed by the pacing, really
Yeah.
impressed by the plot construction up
Mhm.
until that
Yeah, I
last.
mean, yeah. Just ignore
Um,
that part, and it's really
yeah.
good.
I mean, it's also like, obviously, we know the way it deals with dissociative identity is not
Mhm.
like real, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
very
yeah.
like 2003. But
Yeah.
I'm like, if you get on board with that, which I think,
Yeah.
again, you've got to get on board with the movie you're watching,
Yes.
then
Yeah.
like, it's a really well constructed
Yeah,
ride.
it's just a fun
Yeah.
Cusack film,
Yeah.
and it's just like a fun little like I watched it the first God, when did I watch it? I went through like a John Cusack phase when I was in Chicago. Of course,
Amazing.
that's where he's
Yeah.
from.
Mhm.
I mean to a point where I want to say it was partly unhealthy because I started dating somebody who looks like John Cusack. I mean, it was like,
That's incredible.
I mean, truly, Siena. Like,
Yeah.
I found the only person in
That's
Chicago that looked really
which,
close to what he looked
again,
like.
not kind of like our Maggie Gyllenhaal conversation. Not a person that many people look like.
No.
Like,
And like, did he? I don't know. I was also
but
drinking.
close enough.
I was
Yeah.
in college. But I tried to watch everything that was
That's
available.
so funny.
And so Identity was one of them. 1408 was one of them. So it was college. And just he's one of those people. There's like a few actors where it's like, I don't care if the movie is bad, they're never bad.
Yeah.
Like, and he's so
always
perfect.
strong.
I don't know, his just like irritability I relate to so hard.
I'll come back to it in my segment, but one of the quotes that I got from Samuel L. Jackson about working with Cusack was he calls him Mr. Insulin, and I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
I don't even know what that means, but
Yeah.
it feels like the vibe.
Yeah, it feels right. Yeah, I love him. So, anyways, we'll dive into
Yeah.
so 2003. Any sort of featurette that I found was the most
Very
fluff. Like, I
2003.
love working with him. He's a great director. So I didn't get a ton of meat on it. I wish I got more. I did find some really cool little nuggets that kind of surprised me. So we'll just jump in and go for it. You're
Yeah.
gonna have a little bit more than me. So taglines, we have two of them. One, I can't tell if it's three different taglines or if they're supposed to be strung together. You know what I
Great.
mean? Like
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
the internet does
Sometimes
not.
they get listed
Yeah.
weird.
So we have The Secret Lies Within,
Uh-huh.
which I think is
Yeah.
honestly
good.
great.
Yeah.
And then this one again, I don't know if it's three separate or three together. So I'll do Identity is a Secret. Identity is a mystery.
Oh.
Identity is a killer.
I watched the trailer for it. And
Was that
comes
what it
up.
came?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
thank you.
it was all three in the trailer. So I think it is all three as one.
That one's horrible.
It's fine.
I hate when people do that. Like the sentences. Anyways, so director, we have James Mangold.
Who isn't he like a music biopic guy?
He's done some music. He's done a little bit of everything. He's kind of got like a weird career in the scheme. So I'm gonna read off.
Name come up. I was like, that feels incongruous.
He has some music. So he has 2005's Walk the Line.
Oh, okay.
Music.
Yeah.
He also did Disney's Oliver and Company. Screenplay, I should say, for Disney's Oliver and Company. He directed Walk the Line. He directed 2017's Logan and a Wolverine movie. He wrote the screenplay for Girl Interrupted.
What?
Girl, I mean, when I tell you that movie was also my personality.
Oh yeah,
striped shirt, smoking my cigarette. I was like, I'm insane.
Yeah.
So I don't know, and he's also set to direct the new Star Wars film. Dawn of the Jedi. So he's really done. He's like the weirdest career I've seen.
Yeah.
So he's screenwriter. He's director. He does biopic. I don't know.
Okay.
He seems really cool. I have a lot of quotes from him.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, everybody.
Oh my
I hope
God,
you all
amazing.
like the quotes. Is it lazy? A little bit. But sometimes it's hard to paraphrase when someone puts it so perfectly.
Absolutely. I'm also glad that you brought in quotes because I have much fewer quotes than I usually bring
well, I'm
in.
quote heavy, so
fantastic.
Here we go. He seems really cool and just seems like he loves filmmaking. He seemed to be on set a lot on Identity too. He was always just like on the set. I forget who I was watching. If it was an interview with like Scarlett Johansson or Elizabeth Olsen, but one of them was talking about how they wish directors in particular would get back being by the camera and how they miss that interaction because it gives. Oh, it was Winona Ryder on Hot Ones. She was on the Hot Ones.
Incredible.
And she was talking about how working with Tim Burton was so wonderful because he's behind the camera, like not acting it out, but like you're feeling something from him. And James Mangold definitely seems like that type of director.
Which, like, for those of you who have not been on a set, a lot of the time directors now will sit at quote unquote video village, which is often, it's like you've got a monitor set up, you have headphones on, you're in a different room, and so like the actors can't see you, can't interact with you, can't like feed off your energy, and especially because most actors started out on stage in one way or another, like you rely on the director to be your audience.
It's the person you're kind of working and crafting with the most, and it should be an intimate relationship. So he very much seems like that. It seemed like cast loved working with him. So good vibes with him. So and just looking at what he's done, I'm like, I love him.
Yeah.
We have screenwriter Michael Cooney. He did 2 holiday horror films. I don't really know a lot of his work, but he did Jack Frost and Jack Frost too. So he wrote those. I've not seen those. One day we'll have to cover those.
Yeah, when I was looking up, I was just like triple checking our holiday movie choices for next episode, and those were some that were coming up on the list of holiday horror.
Jack Frost for sure one day. I remember that DVD
I remember
terrifying me in Blockbuster.
I remember the commercial for it being on another DVD that I owned, but I can't remember what it was.
Terrifying. So I have a quote from him about working with director James, how we're going to refer to him going forward. He talks about him saying, quote, "What you want to happen," and this occurred with James Mangold on Identity, "is that you want someone who utterly understands the movie. You don't want someone who has their own vision and is just using the script as a backbone and is taking it off in a different direction. I've been very fortunate with the directors who have taken my screenplays in that they utterly understand the script. You find that your influence is in the script itself. You don't have to be a whisper in the director's ear. You trust that what they're going to do is elevating your piece," which is exactly what I believe happened in both Identity and then another film he talked about, Six Souls, that he worked on. So I love hearing a screenwriter.
That's really cool.
Kind of give.
You so rarely hear screenwriters happy with how their films are directed.
Exactly. So yeah, I was like, oh wow, that's great. So it's like the only quote I could find from him. Composer. We have the case of someone being replaced. So we're gonna. I don't really have much information, but from our Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me episode, Angelo Badalamenti originally signed on to write the score, and I think wrote the score.
How do you turn down a Badalamenti score?
He was replaced with a legend of a composer, Alan Silvestri.
Oh, God,
this marks the second occasion on which composer Alan Silvestri actually stepped in to replace a Badalamenti score.
Oh my God.
The first instance was 1991's film Shattered.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. So
he's the guy you get when you're not happy
yes.
with it.
And here's why he's the guy you get. So Alan Silvestri, if you've heard his name, he is a frequent Robert Zemeckis collaborator since 1984, actually. So they're still working together. So he did Back to the Future franchise, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Polar Express, Forrest Gump, Castaway, What Lies Beneath, Practical Magic, The Mummy Returns, and even Avengers film. So he is kind of the guy.
Okay, yeah, that's
For Badalamenti. Also incredible, but this guy is like Hollywood.
Wow.
I feel like royalty.
This movie would feel so different with a Badalamenti score.
And apparently it did it, so I don't know if we can find it, if it exists. Again, 2003, we don't get a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Nobody knew what to do with stuff, so he wrote it. Whether he recorded it, I don't know.
I'm so fascinated.
And I tried to find details on why he replaced Badalamenti. All I know it's because he must have recorded it. His original score was rejected by the producers in the studio, and thankfully this decision was made before the film's release, and so Alan stepped in and gave a score that better matched the tone. So to your point, it probably just didn't land in the way they want.
I really liked the score. There were a couple of moments where I specifically like turned to Dana and was like, this is a really cool piece of music going on here.
That's how I felt with 1408 too.
Yeah.
So much sound design in that one.
Oh, I know. The sound design is so important to 1408.
Extremely. So yeah, I thought that was really, I was like, Badalamenti. I know that name from our Fire Walk with Me.
Bizarre.
So yeah.
Oh, I want to hear his
I know, I
version.
know.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm a Badalamenti fanboy, but I'm like, I feel like I would have liked it better.
Yeah. I mean, if everyone, I don't know if you've still listened to the American Werewolf score. If not, we're definitely doing that after
No,
this.
I need to do that. Ugh.
They really missed out on it. So there are occasions where the director and the studio are wrong.
Yeah.
Moving on to starring, obviously we have John Cusack as
course.
Ed Dakota. Everyone's got their state name. So again, doesn't need an intro. I have a lot of these, but Say Anything, High Fidelity, Better Off Dead, Crazy Summer, Grifters. I have a huge crush still to this day with Man.
Love.
I love that he's on the right side of the line these days too, speaking out against ICE and everything it should be to be a good human.
I also just Joan Cusack was such a like early like sexual awakening for me.
Listen, still to this day too.
Absolutely.
The two of them really.
I know.
Really,
I'm like,
did the Cusacks shape our sexuality?
Did the Cusacks?
Everybody
make us
raise your hand. If you're a victim.
Who here has been personally victimized
by your sexual identity being shaped by the Cusacks? Yeah, siblings. Absolutely. So I'm sure all of you can agree with us. So yeah, love him, love Joan. Wish she was in this because they're in so many things together. But
God, I know.
So when director James was asked why he wanted to cast John Cusack, because again, I don't think he's done any thrillers or anything like this up to this point.
Which I feel like is part of, sorry not to jump ahead, but part of why he does so well in both of these roles is like there's something about him that works in horror so well because he's got that kind of like all-American, like
he's really earnest with it.
You think he's trustworthy even if he's being a dick.
Yeah.
Which then means when he's an unreliable narrator, it takes you more by surprise.
Yeah, it's so good. Can't say it better. So again, director James must have seen something like that in him. So I have a quote from him talking about wanting to cast John Cusack, saying, quote, Kathy, the producer, Kathy Conrad, and I both felt John was was perfect for this role. When you think of movies like The Grifters, you don't feel like it's such a stretch. I've not seen it, but he said, I'd met John a few times before, and there was a great everyman sense to him. And while there's this great warmth to him, especially as he's grown older, there's also a simplicity, a gravity to him. And there's something very solid about John. And he does. I mean, he's never lived out of Chicago. I don't think. He's still there.
Oh, I love that.
So I think there's just like that, a gravity to him. I feel like it's such a perfect way.
He feels very grounded.
Yeah. And when he was offered the role into the script, John Cusack said, so I have a quote from John Cusack saying, quote, I started reading it and I thought, all right, well, we'll see how this thing goes. And then on page 30, I thought I had it pegged and I didn't. And then on page 50, I thought I'd figure it out, but I didn't. And then I kept going. This way, and by the end of it, I realized I hadn't seen any of those things coming. So I thought, man, that's pretty seamless because, I should have figured it out by now, especially someone who's read scripts and maybe I don't know if he's a fan of horror, but that's how it kind of feels watching it too, is you keep thinking that you're getting to this point. Basically, every kill, you're like, I got it. It's this person. It's this person. And it's just like, you're just wrong the entire time. The entire time.
And again, because so much happens so quickly, it's like it almost overwhelms you with possibilities.
Especially with such a big cast.
Like 10 people is a lot to have as your primary characters, and it manages it. Like they all feel like distinct
they get their moment.
Individuals.
And then he goes on record too, just saying it's still one of like the most clever scripts he's read in a long time. So we have Ray Liotta as Samuel Rhodes. He was in Goodfellas, Field of Dreams, was in the 2021 series Hannah, which I just rewatched the film Hannah with Saoirse Ronan.
She's amazing.
It holds up so well. So everyone go to watch that. The score is like the music in it is amazing. We have Amanda Peet as Paris, Nevada. She's Saving Silverman, Igby Goes Down, Something's Gotta Give, X-Files movie, and in the movie 2012. She was so perfect in this. It like bums me out she's not in more movies like this.
I was thinking that. It feels like where did she go?
Yeah, I don't know. She's like in things, but I'm like, man, I feel like she could have been like a scream queen for us. And
she has that kind of energy to her.
I want it. So we have John Hawkes as Larry Washington. I love this man so much. He's one of my
so
favorite
good.
character actors. And I kind of joked at writing out what he's been in. Like all the titles of he's like in everything. But all the films that he's in have like the longest fucking titles ever. So he's in Winter's Bone, that one's short. He's also in Me, You, and Everyone We Know. 2017's 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene, which is incredible. And Risk Cutters, A Love Story.
Amazing.
He's also in the TV series Deadwood, which I forgot about that show. We have Jake Busey as Robert Maine, obviously Gary Busey's son. This was the first thing I've seen him in. He's in a shit ton of stuff too. Lower budget things, but like there's definitely still a lot of horse sprinkled in there. He was in an episode of Mr. Robot, NCIS, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And yeah, he's still doing shit. 'Cause I haven't seen him in anything lately, but I want him to go back to horror.
Yeah.
Come back.
Watching this, especially again, just it's a cast full of so many people who don't do horror usually.
Yeah. I mean, Amanda P is a rom-com and like goofy, silly, like comedy girl. So to see her in this. We have Clea Duvall. So again, we love her. We talked about her on The Faculty. So you can listen to that episode. She's also in But I'm a Cheerleader and also in 5 episodes of Handmaid's Tale. Which I've not seen. I don't know if I can watch that.
Yeah.
It's too real.
I also just listened to Margaret Atwood's memoir that she put out, which is narrated by her, and now I like want to watch
By Clea?
No, by Margaret Atwood. Sorry.
Okay. Oh wow. That's
and
cool.
now I'm like I want to go back and watch the series, but I'm all the more like can't do it right now.
I don't know we can do it right now.
Can't do it
Let's
right
get on
now.
the other side of this and then maybe.
Maybe like 2030.
Yeah. The corpse of the motel manager that we see out of the freezer was Stuart Besser, who was the film's executive producer and production manager.
That's so cute.
They're like, get in there. So jumping into kind of script and pre-pro, screenwriter Michael had spent actually a year and a half writing Identity and was super proud of where he got with it. He kind of described the script as a crazy movie with a dreamy fever dream space. So that's kind of encapsulated.
Also makes sense why you'd think Angelo Badalamenti is the right person to score that.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I've only heard his score in Fire Walk with Me.
He did like almost all of the David Lynch projects for like
okay. Yeah,
he's like
the
David
so
Lynch
Fever
guy.
Dream. There you go. The film is also a nod, which I'm sure if you haven't heard of this, you might have caught it or it lives in the recess of your brains. Nod to Agatha Christie's novel, And Then There Were None.
I was thinking that.
Yeah. I was like, if you didn't know it, you felt it, and you're like, is it? Yes, it is. So not only
has that kind of a feeling to it so much,
and I love. I did something in like film school. I want to say it was one of my roommates. We shot like And Then There Were None little video project where we said the is it a prose or poem? Is it a poem? Prose. And we did this thing, so I got to do cool horror death special effects makeup where they then came to life, said their piece, and then died again.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So it was a bunch of different ways they died. It's like so film school.
That's so fun.
But I love this work of hers. So not only does it share one of the characters directly reference to Agatha Christie movies, but it's like obviously like a very whodunit. It also borrows several plot elements. So dialogue obviously kind of says the film in which 10 strangers traveled to an island and then died one by one. So it's very much like a true nod. We have, I guess, the only changes, whereas like stage and screen adaptations of the story end on a happier note, Identity actually keeps kind of the original ending, which is kind of nice. I didn't realize other people changed. Why do people want things to be happy? Let it be sad.
Truly. This is horror we're talking about.
Yeah. So Identity is one of the few adaptations that keeps the original ending, whereas the murderer is revealed to be one of the victims who faked their death, blah, blah, blah. We all know. And in the book, the killer takes their own life after persuading the final survivor to do the same. So that's kind of how the book is, which I don't remember. Of course, we have, I think it starts off with the poem in the beginning too. We have a different poem.
The Man Who Wasn't There.
Yeah, so that's William Hughes Mearns. So that's when we hear, when I go up the stairs, I met a man who wasn't there. He wasn't there again today. I wish he'd go away. Which is such a fun way to open. Are you familiar with that one?
I could tell that it was from something existing, but
I
didn't know what it was
from. It was too good.
Yeah.
To be fair, it was a little too good for this movie too. Yeah. And I'm wearing my Psycho shirt today.
Yes.
From Spectral Youth. Everybody go
so
shop his
good.
stuff. So we kind of talked too about the Psycho references.
Yeah,
in
Al's
this.
is full of Psycho references. Mine is
Yeah.
full of Shining references.
Yeah,
It's
which
very, yeah.
my brain is actually having a hard time thinking of the Shining references. So I'm
We're
so
gonna
excited
get there.
to
Yeah.
hear. You have watch notes too about the Psycho references. So
Yeah, I mean,
obviously motel, it's raining. We have the shower curtain scene.
mhm,
So the victim kind of falling and then using that curtain. So
mhm.
what did you catch anything
The
else?
thing that most stood out to me was the motel sign itself is using the same font, which was really
Yes,
satisfying. Yeah.
yes,
I think
yeah.
it also has the same number of rooms, if I'm remembering correctly.
No
I might not be
way.
100% accurate on that, but yeah.
Ooh, oh my gosh, I have to look that up to see if it
Yeah.
does.
I
The
mean, I was
internet
thinking
didn't
a
write
lot
it
about room
down.
numbers for mine, obviously.
Yeah,
So
yeah. You're very number heavy as in yours. So that wasn't the only kind of reference that director James used. So not only Psycho, he talks about other classic films in an interview prior to the film's release. He said he was also really attracted to the film because it was like other films that had this claustrophobic feel to it, which
mhm.
both of these do.
Yeah, very much.
So I have a quote from him talking about this. He says, I don't see this as a genre that's tapped out at this point. Again, 2003. I
Mhm.
still don't think it's tapped out.
No.
You can make it sound like a dead end, but these remain some of the most cinematic films ever made. Whether you're talking about Rear Window,
Mhm.
The Others, Polanski's Knife in the Water, Dead Calm, Carpenter's The
Wow.
Thing, Alien, huge piles, I love this, of great
Mhm.
films that buck conventional wisdom that a
Mhm.
movie should be cinematically broad, like Lawrence of Arabia, which
Mhm.
is, I'm like, what a
Wow.
little film nerd for him to
That's,
bring up
yeah,
Lawrence of Arabia.
incredible. I love that he brought up The Others too, because that had only been
Yeah.
out for like 2 years at the time yours was
Oh yeah,
released. It was
2005. Oh,
2001.
2001. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I love that. I love a claustrophobic
Oh
film
yeah.
like this.
Me
So
too.
he goes on to talk in a different interview about the saying, there were already such icons in my head once I realized that the beginning, middle, and end occur at this one place. One of them is John Carpenter's The Thing, which I think is a really great film, but it
Mhm.
was extremely influenced by Alien, which I
Mhm.
think is another extremely great film. I
Mhm.
think both of these movies as an absolute penultimate integrations of the horror film, the monster of the film, into modern styling. So yeah, he just was a
Mhm.
big fan and took those as reference. And I'm sure, like reading the script too, he was like,
Yeah.
"This is it." So, want to take a stab at budget?
Okay, so because I watched both of these films back to back with Dana,
Oh yeah,
I watched partway through watching yours, I was like, this has to be lower budget than mine. And
I'm so curious what yours
Dana
is.
looked it up and asked me what mine was and was like, no, it's not. So that's as much of a spoiler as I have. Because of that, I'm like 30?
Oh yeah, I'm close. 28 million. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. Oh
fascinating. See,
man,
I originally would have thought like I think it could have been made for 15. I think
15 was what I was gonna
yeah,
guess
it
for it. Yeah, yeah.
absolutely feels like it
I'll
could
tell
have
you
been.
why maybe it's not.
I mean,
So,
there's definitely like there's the explosion looked real.
oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Clearly they had a lot of rain machines
Oh my
going.
god, the most rain machines.
So many
I
rain
tried to
machines.
find how many gallons.
God,
Could not, but boy, all of them
yeah,
probably.
yeah, all of the all the water in the world.
I mean, truly,
Um,
nonstop
but like
rain.
it doesn't feel like it needed to be
Sure.
28 million.
I know. I'm like, how much of that is cast? Because
Yeah,
everyone was kind of known at this
and I
point.
guess that probably is a giant chunk of it because again, when you have 10 characters,
Yeah,
that's whereas
it's a lot.
compared to mine, you're basically working with one person the whole time.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So you can
yeah.
throw all of the money
Yeah.
into your effects,
Yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
is what they did essentially. But
Damn, I'm
yeah.
so curious. So, I think part of it too. So 28 million,
Mhm.
jumping into locations, 90%
Yeah.
of the film was shot on a soundstage. So
Interesting.
that's where I think a lot of it was the build.
That makes
Because
sense. Yeah.
unlike Sleepy Hollow, where it feels like a set in the best way,
Yeah.
this one actually didn't feel
I
super.
completely bought it as location.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 90%. So that's where I think it all went,
Wow.
was the build.
Okay.
They shot it on Soundstage 27 at Sony Pictures in Culver City.
Fascinating.
Specifically, Soundstage 27 housed Emerald City during Wizard of Oz, so very big set.
Oh.
It's also one of the tallest sound stages.
Mm.
It's 50 foot and like up to 80 feet.
Wow. Oh my god.
And Gene Kelly, I guess, preferred. This is on their Sony website.
Uh-huh.
Preferred to shoot in that one. So it's
Aw.
one of the biggest ones they have. So that's
Wow.
where I think you kind of get that it doesn't feel like a soundstage.
Yeah.
Unlike Sleepy Hollow, where they had the low
Interesting. Yeah, 'cause
ceilings, they had to disguise.
Mhm.
So obviously this allowed for those rain bars and the rain
That
machines
makes
because
sense.
it never stops once. I love that both of our
Wow.
films start with
With
John
rain.
Cusack driving in
In
the
the
rain.
rain. Yeah.
So yeah, they probably
Looking
spent
tired of everything.
yeah, just like backing up just
Yeah.
wildly. So director James talks about shooting mostly on a soundstage, saying, quote, "You had been amazed if you visited during shooting. We built literally 95% of what you see in the movie. It was incredible what we got away with on stages. It allowed us to make for a stronger film. I mean, having done nights in the rain on location, it's just brutal. It's a
Yeah.
lot harder to control the elements, and we still worried about composition." So
Well, and also to get the rain consistency that you
I mean,
need,
yeah,
you're
and
just not gonna.
yeah, and it's they could have done it CG, but like you want them to look wet and miserable.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
They also
and
make a joke that like, why is John Cusack just happens to be in a raincoat? He's like the only one in the film that like is dressed
Yeah.
appropriately.
That tracks.
What were you
Yeah.
gonna say?
Well, I think also 2003, our water CG was not that good yet, which
Oh,
water is still really hard to
Yeah.
get right
Yeah.
with effects.
You would have
so you would have known,
noticed.
yeah.
He also talks about how he wanted to shoot like old school Hollywood film. And so I have a quote from him again, quote heavy guys, sorry. He says, "Shooting a movie is never 9 to 5, but I found myself getting home and having dinner,
Oh my god.
which is so unusual for me when
Yeah.
making a movie and most people, if not everybody. In this case, there was something very methodical to making a movie, and in many ways, it was one of the reasons I was interested in this film. The storytelling was the star." He also goes to talk about how he's a big fan of single locations in movies. Like he said earlier, they're super cinematic to him. He loves them for that reason. He goes on to say, quote, "It's almost the opposite of kind of opening things up, which is often implied to plays or book adaptations. To me, some of the most cinematic movies have opened up without doing the obvious. They've kept themselves in one world and said to themselves, somehow I'm going to keep opening doors in this world. I'm not going to allow myself to cut, say, New Delhi or cut to London, etc." So he really wanted to kind of go in this loop. That's why I love even that point where the like parolee or convict or whatever, he kind of thinks he leaves just to loop right
Yeah.
back around, which both these movies do. Yours does it a million times, but just kind of having that sense of space
The
and
whole
that you can't
landscape,
leave.
yeah.
So filming, they also did a couple locations. So one of them being at the 4 Acres Movie Ranch in Palmdale. So they actually had built the I don't know if the motel existed there and they added facades and then kind of took that and built it on stage
Got it.
27, but they also kind of had some shots there. I think that's where you maybe get that one from a little bit further
That
away.
makes sense, yeah.
And then they also shot at Los Angeles City Hall and a few exteriors in Palmdale and Lancaster. So they had a couple things, but mostly on stages. So production, they shot for 2 months, which I think is probably one of my longer ones. I feel like a lot of mine stick.
Kind of cushy for being in one location.
Yeah, one location on
essentially. Yeah.
sounds. He wanted to have his dinner.
Yeah.
So to make the soundstage come to life, director James hired production designer Mark Friedberg to transform the soundstage. So they had obviously endless rain, a motel, a swimming pool, 14 rooms, and then the surrounding desert for that, which that's got to be so cool to be on, especially like in a stage to have like a desert landscape.
Yeah, I am shocked that pool was not real because it looked so authentically like a disgusting motel pool.
Yeah, you would think to a point, especially in California, you
could
could find that
so easily.
And
Yeah.
they're everywhere. Just go
Yeah.
to any apartment building and
so
it exists to an
funny.
extent. So yeah, they built that. Mark Friedberg, if you recognize him, he did both the new Joker films. He also worked with Wes Anderson on Life Aquatic and also Darjeeling Limited.
Okay, yeah.
He also worked on Coffee and Cigarettes, Broken Flowers, and The Producers.
Oh my god,
Do you have
amazing. Oh no, I
Coffee and
love
Cigarettes?
coffee and cigarettes. Yeah. Oh.
Okay, I knew you did. That's why I put that one in there. Listen, we both went to film school.
Yeah.
We both went to film school. So yeah, he's done. You can just, it's palpable.
Yeah.
I feel like this one's such a difference style in a way that, like, I feel like some of our production designers, you really see it, but to go from Wes Anderson to Identity, it's just like, what
he
a
really
leap.
disappears into it
Yeah,
in a way that,
so
like, this is a little bit of a tangent, but I rewatched The Birdcage the other night, and had completely forgotten that it's Bo Welch who did the
oh,
production
yeah.
design,
Yeah, yeah,
who's our
yeah.
Beetlejuice guy.
Yeah.
But then you watch it and you're like, oh my god, of course this was done by the same person who
Mm,
did the Beetlejuice production, and it's
yeah.
very suited to what it is. But it's
Yeah.
like you can see the Bo Welch fingerprint on
Yeah.
it, whereas
Because
this
you feel
is
like you can, like, feel it, and it
yeah.
feels very, like, almost for stage.
Yeah, like it's very sculptural, his work. There's like all of
Sculptural.
those walls with holes out of like cut out of them and stuff. That's just like very he kind of did the same thing in Beetlejuice to completely different effect. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, that's the same
Yeah.
guy. I do
Same
not
bones,
see
different
that.
aesthetic.
Exactly. I do not see that from Life Aquatic.
Yeah,
to
no,
this.
not at all.
That's
Not at
wild.
all. So yeah, I think he's had such an interesting career, and then doing films like The Producers too.
Yeah. The later one.
2005.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is so
Amazing.
good.
It's so
I love that
good.
one so much. Not to get stuck on him. So, director James also talks about working with Mark, saying that about the design in the film and how detailed they were together with things. Again, it's so funny because I feel like this one is so detailed, but holding it up to yours, I can't wait to gag over your
Oh my
film.
god.
So not anywhere near 1408, but they spent a lot of time, and he kind of talks about how stressful it was. He said like the devil was in the details when it came to Identity. They spent so much time on the little details because they cared so much, and I love that he talks about how much he cared about this film. He admits that every movie has its flaws and kind of acknowledges it can be one of those things that can almost paralyze a filmmaker when they're focusing on that. He kind of talks about it a little bit, saying it's like when you watch a film like Citizen Kane, you wonder how you can even be playing in the same ballpark as them. But if you watch it as if you've made it, you might say, wow, this is kind of a stinky scene. So now the scene, which I think is so cute. I love this man. You guys need to watch interviews. He just like has little glasses. And he's got this little beard. I don't know. He's just like really
Very
adorable.
Santa
So,
Claus coded,
but I love that he's like, if I made Citizen Kane,
I think it's
that's stinky. And
honestly, I feel like Orson Welles would love that.
Right?
I think he'd love that.
He's a dark, kind of like fucked sense of
Yeah.
humor. He goes on to say like, now the scene before it and the scene after is great, but even in that stinky scene there's great details, even if a prop is like looking out of place or whatever. So he said even within making his films he knows that there's flaws,
That's
but
amazing.
he cared about the things that he cared about, and it's
Yeah.
not going to be perfect. I don't think anything's perfect. Everyone knows the Game of Thrones with the the Starbucks cup.
Starbucks cup,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's just like, listen, we're artists and not everything is perfect. And
It's
he
not.
admits to that.
I love that.
But calls it stinky. So special effects, once again, I don't know how many films I've covered. We have K and B doing the special effects again. Yeah, so it's Robert Kurtzman, Greg Nicotero, and Howard Berger are K and B. Specifically, it was Greg Nicotero credited as a special effects makeup supervisor as well as puppeteer.
I saw a puppeteer credit.
I
and
don't know
was
what he fucking
what was
puppeted.
puppeted?
The bodies, I think.
That's what I was wondering, if it was like some of the, like maybe even the the frozen body might be a puppet, because
Yeah, just like kind of pushing
in a
it
very
out.
specific way. I don't know.
I couldn't find fucking
Hard to say.
anything on this one. I couldn't even find interviews with him about him on this
Man.
one. So
If any of y'all know where the puppet is,
yeah,
in
where what's
Identity.
being puppet just to push in the bodies. So he was obviously responsible for real life dummy that was used for Jake Busey's character. Also, like the mother's body at some point, the head in the dryer, and a little funny story about the Jake Busey dummy. One of the studio executives wanted to keep it as like a souvenir from,
That's
because they're weird.
upsetting.
I'm glad it was him and not the woman one though.
Yeah, true.
I had to like
Ugh.
reread and make sure it was
Ugh.
like the right puppet. So he wanted that dummy. And one day the cleaning lady came into the office and was so frightened by it that he had to have it removed from his office, which I appreciate. He took it out of there afterwards. But also like Jake Busey's very scary looking in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't want that sitting anywhere around me as I'm cleaning.
I'm terrified
poor lady.
to imagine the exec who wants that sitting in their office. And I'm
Listen,
a horror person.
Studio executives.
Ugh,
They're
yeah.
executives for a reason. You know, they're money.
Yeah, don't hold the black light to that
No.
thing. Ugh.
Please don't. A little like, I don't have too much sound design, but I kind of have a note about how the final confrontation was kind of muted. We don't really get to hear their dialogue. So in this scene, for those of you who haven't seen it or can't remember, it's where Ray Liotta's character Rhodes, so like the two cops talking, I air quotes on that one. He silently mouths, "I didn't do this," and Ed mouths, "I know." It was director James who suggested muting the dialogue because he felt that hearing it would make it too obvious that Rhodes was not the killer, which brings us to our ending. We're kind of rounding the corner quick, guys. Sorry. Reportedly, there were several endings filmed for this one in a way to not, and I wish I could find all of them. It was, they filmed a bunch of them so that no one knew what it would
that
be.
feels very Agatha Christie
I
also
know.
somehow.
Yeah. So
it was more for the actors.
It was,
than
more for the
else.
actors, more for it not being leaked than anything.
They chose the wrong one.
Listen. Well, there's an extended cut of the film on the
God.
DVD.
Oh my God.
Which I could not find a clip of, but this version is about a minute longer, so we don't have to worry about than the theatrical release. It's reportedly more violent. It includes kind of cutbacks to the killer, and kind of features the arrival of a frustrated detective. So it's not like that different. It's just a little bit longer. So
I wanted it to end with it being what's her face with the Orange Grove. I wanted her to be the killer.
Oh, you
that would
wanted
have
her
genuinely
to be the killer.
That would have felt like an actual twist.
Yeah.
Because she hadn't been breadcrumbed.
Yeah, and also too, like, I feel like I always fucking forget sometimes the ending, or like I want to like play along, and it's just like the cop would seem the obvious.
Very much.
He goes right up to the end. Yeah, her being like the bad seed of
would have
them
been really fun.
Yeah,
I would have loved that.
You just cut, and she's just like burying very like secret window of like burying bodies in the Orange Grove.
Yeah, like if I really wanted it to be like when she digs into the dirt and starts taking out the hotel key. Like I wanted it to be that like the bodies were there.
Yeah. Instead of we get that creepy like Children of the Corn.
Yeah,
kid.
It's very Children of the
Malachi.
Corn.
That's
so Malachi.
That's what he reminds me of. I fuck
Silence, Malachi.
Yeah, it's really repressed like horrible childhood. Fuck them kids is really the message we get. So, moving on to reception of the film.
I'm so curious.
I know, especially with like people really don't like the ending.
Yeah.
So the reception actually kind of surprised me because I didn't read that until later. So reception. So it was released in like over 2,000, almost 3,000 cinemas on April 25th, 2003 in the United States and Canada. It ranked number 1 in its opening weekend, grossing $16.2 million. So again, $28 million budget. And then dropped down to number 3 in its second weekend behind the second X-Men movie and the Lizzie McGuire movie. Which I joked, I went to go see the Lizzie McGuire movie. I did not go see Identity.
Yeah.
So I was one of those people that kicked it down. It went on to gross, so other than that $16.2 million first weekend, it went on to gross another $52.1 million in the US and $38.1 in Canada, making it over $90 million.
Fascinating.
So like kind of kicked ass.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't remember it being talked about a lot.
I'm so fascinated by this because, I don't know if I want to spoil it. I'm fascinated by this. Put a pin in it for mine.
Yeah. I was going to say, don't spoil. We're almost done.
Yeah. Fantastic.
The film was also nominated for Best Action Adventure or Thriller Film and Best DVD Special Edition Release at the 30th Saturn Awards. It did not win. It lost to Kill Bill Volume 1 and Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers.
I'm sorry.
As it should lose to those.
Appropriate.
Totally appropriate. And then here's where we're taking that pin out of adaptation. So director James has made comments to this. So I have never seen adaptation. I know it's Nick Cage. I'm not a big Nick Cage fan.
I honestly think you would love it. Have you seen it, Travis?
Yeah.
Do you think Al would like it? I think it would be up their alley.
Yeah.
I need to do a rewatch. I haven't watched it since like high school.
I love him in Gone in 60 Seconds. So. The movie's atrocious.
I mean,
Angelina Jolie has white girl dreads.
Oh,
so it's really
no,
yeah.
Jesus Christ. I mean, it's the same screenwriter, Charlie Kaufman, who did like Being John Malkovich, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Right. Okay, that actually makes sense then why there was So for those of you who have not seen it, I hope this quote enlightens you. They both have to do with they're both dealing with DID. Is that correct? No. Okay.
That's okay. So it.
Do you want me to read the quote first, then we'll see?
Read the quote
okay.
First,
Yeah, because I was gonna say it might answer for people.
Yeah.
So I have not seen it, but again, this came out 2000. That came out in 2002. This is 2003. Nick Cage is also a huge star at this point as well. So director James says about the rumored connection. So he says, I love Identity. I love it. In fact, I think some of the filmmaking, the craftsmanship, and the image making, it's something I'm very proud of. Interestingly, when Adaptation came out, and there's this joke in the movie about someone with a split personality that came out right before Identity. You know the joke. Nick Cage is working on this crazy idea for a movie, the idea that the killer has multiple personalities, and Adaptation came about before three months before Identity. Damn. When I saw Adaptation, I realized I was dead. Half of the reviews of Identity were going, like, this is the movie about a stupid joke. Someone made a movie about the joke in Adaptation. So again, I don't get that joke per se.
The joke and Adaptation, if I may.
Yeah, because I don't think I have that in here.
So Adaptation, basically, Charlie Kaufman, the screenwriter, gets the assignment to adapt this book that he considers unadaptable.
Okay.
And so he starts trying to write this screenplay and is struggling with it, and again, keep in mind, this is the guy who had already written John Malkovich at this point.
Right.
And so what does Charlie Kaufman do? He decides to write a screenplay about Charlie Kaufman struggling to write the screenplay of this movie, thus Adaptation, except it goes kind of
off the rails.
It diverges from real life in that in the movie, Charlie Kaufman, who's played by Nick Cage.
Okay.
Nick Cage is playing the screenwriter Charlie Kaufman of the movie.
Christ.
Nick Cage has a twin brother named Donald Kaufman. Donald Kaufman does not exist in the real world, but the screenplay for Adaptation is credited to Charlie and Donald Kaufman. And Donald Kaufman, who's like Charlie Kaufman's like ne'er-do-well twin brother, again also played by Nick Cage, decides that he's gonna take up screenwriting and just like immediately starts like succeeding more than Charlie, but writing terrible scripts.
Sure.
And one of the scripts he plans to write is about this killer with dissociative identity disorder. So it's really
that's actually
brutal.
Worse than I thought.
It's so bad. It's it's
poor
so embarrassing.
Director James. He's like, so he is making the film. The film is out.
It actually is that film.
Oh my gosh, that's so horrible.
And like especially with the ending that this movie has, it's like because it succeeds at being a good version of that story up until those last 5 minutes, and then it's like, oh no, it really does feel like the movie that Donald Kaufman wrote.
Man, so I have that's perfect. Then I have the second half of this.
Amazing,
this quote
fantastic.
To that now, which will, for those of you who were like me and knew nothing about.
I know
Adaptation.
that's like a very hard to follow explanation. It's a hard to follow movie.
The end. I got the end. I got the part that this is the joke. That's all we need to know. So director James then goes on to say, and it was crushing, honestly. It was crushing because I spent a year and a half working on this movie, and it was kind of like half of the reviews were calling it silly. But part of what I loved about Identity, and maybe you too, was that it was so crazy that it was just this completely crazy movie. And the freedom of the concept meant that you could exist in a more dreamy, fever dream space with the film, which was freeing to me to be this kind of noir and then there were none, amped up to 11 on the volume knob. It was very exciting for me, a hugely enjoyable experience, and I'm very proud of the movie. So again, he sticks to his guns, and I can only imagine. Oh my God.
It's so
I can
brutal.
only imagine. So bless him for having grace. I also said too, which I feel like if you're gonna like, we kind of, some of these movies we have in conversation of like what they remind us of. I feel like this movie now goes under the radar because people talk still so much about Split, which I don't think you can
Yeah.
really compare these movies
I
in
also
that
haven't
way.
seen Split, but
Oh,
yeah, but I
battles
know.
with
Yeah.
or the
Deals
character
with
has
yeah.
DID. Um, no one can compare to James McAvoy's performance in that.
Mm,
I mean, his ability to switch
mhm,
on and off from these characters and
mhm.
voices and mannerisms is like unmatched. And I feel like DID is one of those topics, and I'm so fascinated. There used to be YouTubers that I would follow with DID just
Mhm,
because I'm so intrigued by how the brain responds to
mhm.
even Moon Knight, the Marvel show, and based
Mhm,
off the comic, Oscar Isaac's in it.
mhm.
It only got one season. It's my
No.
ringtone. It's been my ringtone
Oh,
since
wow.
who is it that sings that? I forget what it is.
Humperdinck.
Yeah, Humperdinck. There's a everyday.
Amazing.
Anyways, it also he has a spoiler. He has DID as well, and I just
Oh.
find the human brain so
Mhm.
interesting. I took so many psychology classes, but I feel like people talk, and I don't think this one handles it
Great?
horribly, but it's
It's
not
not
great,
great.
and it's not an accurate
Yeah.
representation.
It's
So that's why
better
I think
than
it gets.
some I've seen,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. So I
yeah.
would say don't look at it to be accurate
Yeah,
in
it's
that. That's not
have
how this
you
works.
have you watched United States of Tara? Oh, you would love
No.
it.
I remember when
How?
that's what's her name?
Yeah, oh
Tony
my
Collette.
gosh, Toni
Toni
Collette.
Collette. I mean,
And
she's
yeah, it's amazing. And it's like
fires
the
on all
most
cylinders.
accurate DID
Is
portrayal
it?
I've seen. It's like
Interesting.
very like I know they like I think consulted
Wow.
with a lot of psychologists.
Sure,
Like
sure,
they really
sure.
tried to do it right.
Yeah.
And it's a comedy. So it's like a very different tone than you usually get with a
Sure.
DID story.
Yeah, yeah.
She's so good.
I mean,
A
she's
must
okay.
watch.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm so fascinated by how people depict DID. So it's
Hmm.
not great, but I'm always it's one of those things that I'm like very confused at why because I mean, I don't know. I don't have DID, so I can't say if they do
Right.
a horrible disservice or not. But if you kind of step away from that and just look
Yeah.
at it in a different way, but I don't know. I feel like it gets overlooked in the conversation of films in this kind of category,
Mm-hmm.
or even in like single space
Yeah.
categories. I feel like 1408
Is the classic. Yeah.
overshadows it a bit.
Yeah.
So critics, I think we have like the weird because I saw Rotten Tomatoes on yours.
Yeah.
We have the reverse,
Oh.
almost to the percentage. So,
Whoa.
63 from critics, 75 from
Oh my god,
audiences.
it is almost
Yeah,
identical.
I think it's
Yeah.
almost
Almost
perfectly reversed.
yeah.
IMDb, it's 7.3 out of 10. So I'm happy
Wow.
to see it's better received than I thought.
Yeah.
Roger Ebert gave it 3 out of 4 stars, saying,
Oh.
quote, "I've seen a lot of movies that are intriguing for the first 2 acts
Mm-hmm.
and then go into autopilot with a formula ending," which
Mm-hmm.
does not do. He says, "Identity is a rarity, a movie that seems to be on autopilot for the first 2 acts and then reveal that it was not." He loves to throw shade even when he's complimenting. "With a 3rd act that causes us to rethink everything that has gone before. Ingenious how simple and yet how devious the
Mm.
solution is."
Oh.
I also have Letterbox, so I'm gonna end it on
Yes.
Letterbox.
Yes.
I said rivaling The Crow. If you know, you know from our live episode. Someone wrote wettest film ever.
Oh my god, true. It can't rain all the time.
Listen, we have 2 other longer ones. It was really hard to find people giving it good reviews on Letterbox, which makes a shame.
What do you have like the
Shame.
score, the letterbox score?
Oh, I don't have
If
the
not, I
full
can look it up
score.
during
I
the
want to say
break.
it might be
Yeah.
probably barely a 3.
Yeah.
I'm sure it has like 2.5.
Oh.
Someone else wrote one of the funniest twists ever. This is silly, but the cast is stacked with reliable actors,
Mhm.
and there's nothing cozier than a rainy motel thriller.
True.
Also, there's so many freeze frames. Love it.
There are so many freeze
I mean,
frames.
drink every time
Yeah.
you
Oh
see a
my
freeze
god.
frame. You
Dead.
shit faced.
Dead.
This is my last little letterbox is longer. They gave it a 4.5 stars, which I
good.
appreciate. Someone says, "I don't revisit it often, but this psychological Agatha Christie rain-drenched motel slasher jam is one of my all-time favorite thrillers. Tense with a magnificent setting that is constantly sweaty and wet, loaded with a great cast, John Hawkes, shout out specifically, oozing with and then there were none mystery atmos. On top of it all, it's dark and goofy as hell. One of those movies that feels like it was made just for me, loaded with all the tropes. I love it. Just a bit of darkness that would soon overtake the horror post saw." So yeah, I love a rain-soaked pulpy junk. 4.5 stars.
Love.
So yeah, those were the
Aw.
really the only good reviews.
3.4.
3.4.
I think it might actually be a tiny bit higher than Letterbox 1408 because
Thank
1408
you.
did not like, I feel like people, I think it's because they're seeing the wrong ending, but I think people are
Sure.
giving 1408 lower reviews.
3.2.
3.2. Yeah. Look at that.
Interesting.
Fascinating.
So, also, sorry, I stumbled the hell through that one.
I had a great time.
I forgot everything I wrote. So
Not like you've got
thanks.
any
That
big
was
life
not-
changes
God.
coming up or anything.
Listen, it's not like I'm packing up my
Yeah.
almost 4 years.
I honestly,
here.
I was shocked seeing your story from yesterday that you were able to get Christmas decorations up in the middle of
Oh,
packing.
no. I have our Christmas tree up,
Ah.
no ornaments, and all my plants I have kept because it's kind of been like one of those things that, we haven't, I'm not an announcer
Yeah.
of stuff like that. And so I think it was my tattoo artist Bud. He goes, you could tell like things were like slightly changing, but like,
Mhm.
I couldn't tell if you guys were moving because like you would take pictures and it looked like all your stuff was still there. I'm like, oh no, I've intentionally kept the only thing
Oh
I
my
take
God.
pictures of is my TV for
That's
football and for the
so funny.
podcast.
Yeah, there
And
you
so
go.
I've kept it really nice.
Oh my God.
It is hell
It's staged.
everywhere.
It's all staged.
Everything else is gone. That is the only set piece that remains.
That's so
I'm
on
glad
brand
I've
for you,
tricked
though,
everyone.
honestly. Yeah.
I was like, did
Completely
people
worked
get
on me.
no?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just have our tree up, and it
That's
was
amazing.
little Cusack Christmas. So
Aw.
yeah. Anyways, thanks for
Amazing.
letting me get through that. I'm excited to be done
Sit
with
back,
this one.
relax, check in to the Dolphin, which is like the
Yeah.
least intimidating hotel name ever in a horror movie.
Listen, dolphins are terrifying.
That's
what are you
true.
talking about?
Dolphins themselves. I mean,
Yeah.
they're a lot of
The
them are
worst.
rapists.
They
Like,
are.
they-
They
yes.
absolutely are. Trust sharks, not
Truly.
dolphins.
Yeah. Ugh.
If you-
Anyway,
Should we take
take
a
a quick
break?
break.
Boy, oh boy.
Think about that for
Yeah.
a couple minutes.
And
We'll be right back. And we're back. Checking in to
Yeah.
1408, which, as I said, I didn't really have like a tidbit to start out with, but as you can imagine, all of the taglines are full of hotel puns. We have
Sure.
the Dolphin Hotel invites you to stay in any of its stunning rooms, except one. We have no one lasts more than an hour, which I like that
That's
one.
good.
We have enjoy your stay.
That's fun. Yeah.
We have the only demons in room 1408 are those within you, which yikes, that's bad.
Yeah, and also
Oh.
like gives away
the whole
thing.
It gives everything away.
Yeah.
It's poorly
'Cause
constructed.
We don't even really get his demons until
No.
like
like
way
the-
later.
yeah, at least
Third
the
act?
second half.
Second?
Of the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
And then my personal favorite: some rooms are locked for a reason.
Ugh,
I
love.
think that
yeah.
one's good. This is directed by a Swedish director whose name I had to look up pronunciation for on a couple of different websites. Mikael Hofström.
Aw, Mike.
Mikael. It's
Mikael.
like, yeah, their version of Michael, which all of the
Aw,
American cast
Mikael.
just calls him Michael.
Michael.
But director Mikael, he's a seasoned director by the time he gets to 1408. It's his second English language film, but he'd done
Wow.
5 features already, plus several TV movies and a miniseries in Sweden. And he had already been nominated for an Oscar for Best Foreign Language feature
Whoa.
for his 2003 film Evil. Other titles he goes on to make, I think the most famous is The Right, the Anthony Hopkins movie. Did
Okay.
not realize that was the same guy who did
Yeah.
1408, but it makes me more
Interesting.
curious to watch it now. He's also done last year's Slingshot with Casey Affleck and Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh,
which
funny.
Did not know that happened, but it's got Casey Affleck and Lawrence
Yeah.
Fishburne. And several episodes of the series Bloodline and Moscow Noir. Very
Interesting.
like steady, respectable, mostly
Yep.
kind of genre leaning
Yeah,
career.
absolutely.
Lots of thrillers, lots of high anxiety stuff. Written by 3 different names. So hold on
Okay.
to your hats. We have first off Matt Greenberg, who did the 2019 Pet Cemetery, Halloween H2O, Seventh Son, Mercy, Reign of Fire, and episodes of both Masters of Horror and the 2000 TV version of The Invisible Man. So very much
Oh.
a genre
Yep.
dude.
Yeah, damn.
Then we get to the writing team of Scott Alexander and Larry Kawazuski, who together wrote Problem Child 2, Problem Child the TV series. Here we get to some really
Bad
interesting
News Bears
stuff.
all over again.
Truly. I had to start us there because he's actually done a lot of really famous stuff. but
Okay,
those were
okay.
fun. Because he did Tim Burton's Ed Wood and Big Eyes.
Oh, wow. Oh.
He did The People versus Larry Flint, which I love. He did Man on the Moon, which I also love. Those two are both
Oh.
directed by Milos Forman, who did One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and Amadeus, so like very famous
Wow.
director. He did they did American Crime Story, and Dolomite Is My Name. So very strong career for
Wow.
this writing team. Based on a short story by Stephen King, which I did not read all of. I did read the ending of, for reasons we will get to.
Yeah.
Which was actually, the short story was originally released in 1999 as part of an audiobook collection read by Stephen King called Blood and Smoke. And so that comes out in 99, doesn't come out in print until 3 years later in the 2002 collection, Everything's Eventual. He describes it as his kind of version of a ghostly room at the inn story, which I'm like, dude, that's The Shining. That is not the only time you've written a ghostly room at the inn story. But it actually started its life as an example exercise for his nonfiction book on writing, where he'd written a few pages of the start of it to include in an appendix about how stuff changes from draft to draft. It was never intended to have an ending.
Oh my.
But he started writing it, and it
sense.
scared him. Yeah, it honestly kind of does.
Make sense.
And when we get to all of the ending drama, it will make sense even more. But yeah, it's never supposed to get finished, but it kind of sticks in his head. He finds it scary, and so he comes back to it and completes it.
Funny.
Starring John Cusack as Mike Enslin. Presumably, Al's already listed these all for Identity, I said, but Say Anything, Gross Point Blank, Fidelity, The Player, Bullets Over Broadway, Con Air, being John Malkovich, speaking of Charlie Kaufman. Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yes.
The Raven about Edgar Allan Poe, Chirac, and he's the voice of Dimitri in Anastasia.
I have Anastasia on my list to watch.
Oh my god.
For this time of year too. I forgot it's him.
So
And it's Meg
funny.
Ryan.
Oh my god. Did not realize that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, rom-com.
Samuel L. Jackson as Gerald Olin. Of course, he's
So
Jules
good.
from Pulp Fiction, Major Marquis Warren in The Hateful Eight, Madlock and Mo Better Blues, Stax and Goodfellas, Arnold in Jurassic Park, Jimmy in Hard Eight, Ordell and Jackie Brown, Big Don in True Romance, Elijah in Unbreakable, Rufus in Kill Bill 2, Mace Windu in Star Wars, Nick Fury in The Avengers, Steven in Django Unchained, the voice of Lucius in The Incredibles, and Sam and John Cusack team up again for another Stephen King adaptation of 2015's Cell.
Oh my god, I forgot about that movie.
Tony Shalhoub as Sam Farrell.
I love everything you read off.
Incredible. He's Fred in Galaxy Quest, Alexander in Spy Kids, which as we know I love.
Yeah.
Freddie in The Man Who Wasn't There, Arthur in 13 Ghosts, Roger in Flamin' Hot, what's shot here, the movie about the invention of Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
I'm sorry.
Yes, that shot in New Mexico last year, 2 years ago.
The invention of Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Lozini in this year's Play Dirty, and he's the voice of Luigi from Cars.
Aw,
Had to shout out our voice acting here.
cute.
We have Len Cariou as Mike's father. He's Sheriff Dave in Secret Window, which we'd considered pairing with this.
Yeah, which honestly would have been great.
Would have been great. Yeah. Al very wisely pointed out that it would be too much Stephen King in a row. I think.
Well, it's such a good fall movie.
Yeah. And also,
I
doing it as a John Cusack pairing was such a good choice.
Yeah, I think I was just selfish in that one.
And it was, you were right. You were selfish and right. He's Father Patrick in Prisoners, Cardinal in Spotlight, D.A. Robert in When They See Us, and Henry Reagan on Blue Bloods. We have Isaiah Whitlock Jr. as the hotel engineer. He's a frequent Spike Lee collaborator. He's Melvin in Da 5 Bloods, Mr. Turrentine in Black Klansman, Agent Flood in The 25th Hour, Detective Gene in The Old Man and the Gun, Gus in The Mist, and George Maddox in Veep. He's also a fireman in Gremlins 2: The New Batch. So another little Gremlins shout out.
Yeah, I love Gremlins.
And then we have Mary McCormack as Lily. She's Mary Shannon from In Plain Sight, Willie on Heels, and Kate on The West Wing. Very much a TV actor. So moving into writing. In 2003, so 1 year after the print publication of the story, Dimension Films, so going back to the Weinsteins, which I think yours might have also been at Dimension Films. I'm trying to remember.
I definitely noticed this on yours. Yeah.
Options the Stephen King short story. which again, 1 year after it comes out. They then
funny.
renew the option in 2004, which means they weren't successful in putting a package together in that first year.
Damn.
But they were close enough to probably pay a second time. And I imagine this was not a situation where Stephen King gave them the rights for $1.
Yeah.
And as is often the case when we see multiple screenwriters, this was less a case of collaboration than of competition. Matt Greenberg, the resident horror guy in our credits, is the one who gets brought in first by Dimension to take a stab at it. And that's because Greenberg had already worked for Dimension already on Halloween H2O.
Oh, okay.
And so they're like, oh, he's our horror screenwriter guy, let's throw him at it.
Yeah.
And they're trying to put one of their better screenwriters forward because this is Dimension's first time doing a Stephen King story, and that's a big deal to Bob Weinstein.
Oh,
so he's like, this is my baby, I've got to give all my good people to it, and we'll see that as we talk about both the budget that this film had and some of the things that Bob Weinstein allowed them to do.
Oh gosh.
We'll get into it. So also both Greenberg, that screenwriter, and Stephen King are repped by CAA. So from a packaging angle, it seems like it's nice and easy from the start.
Sure.
Then 2005 comes around. Director Holmstrom gets brought in, and at that same time, Scott Alexander and Larry Karaszewski get brought in to rewrite Greenberg's existing script. This is all announced at the same time. It's not totally clear why the new writers get brought on. But if I had to take a wild guess, given that timing, I would imagine that it might have been one of Mikhail's conditions of taking the project. Was like, I'll take it, but I want to get it rewritten, which is not that uncommon. Hofstrom himself had already worked with the Weinsteins on a project called Derailed, so he's like a known trusted quantity for them.
Yeah.
And a quick little note on the title. Obviously, as John Cusack points out to us in the film, the numbers 1408 numerologically add up to 13. If you take the 1408, add them together. And because of this, the internet has gone wild tracking every possible numerological number 13 in the movie, and there's a ton of them. So there's, especially people have noted it with changes to the thermostat, like adding and subtracting the temperatures.
Because I was wondering why they kept showing.
Yep. With the times on the clocks, with the Bible passages we see.
I was trying to figure out, like, what was the thing I'm supposed to be looking for those.
The numbers, they add up to 13.
Of course they do.
Of course they do. Even the phrase, don't enter 1408, that's written on not poster. What's the word I'm looking for? Postcard. That's written on the postcard that he receives.
Is it 13 letters?
13 letters.
Oh!
Letters and numbers added together.
I do have 13 tattooed on me. So
oh my gosh.
It's my lucky number.
I love that.
I was always assigned it in school because where my name fell. I was always number 13. Anyways.
Amazing.
Great number.
Great number.
Lucky number.
Love the number 13.
Love it. It's great, Johnny.
And of course, as is basically always the case with haunted house or haunted hotel stories, everybody wants to know if it's based on a real life occurrence.
Just like asked in the movie too. Yeah.
Stephen King has not confirmed that this was a source of inspiration, but there are a few interesting parallels to the Hotel del Coronado in San Diego, which contracted the parapsychologist Christopher Chacon to come check out their hauntings. And those are mainly tied to this third floor room occupied by a woman who checked into the hotel in 1892 under a false name and then commits suicide 5 days later and has supposedly been haunting the hotel ever since. But Chacon was not chased out after a day. He ends up documenting hauntings at the hotel for a full 12 months.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So not bad enough to scare him away, but he apparently did find
he moved right the fuck in.
A lot of stuff.
Wow.
So that's, if you look up was 1408 based on a true story, that's the one a lot of people will attribute it to. Not confirmed by Stephen King, but I'm putting it in there so that people don't yell at me for not having mentioned it. Themes, approach, and history. So Hofstrom, being a director who's kind of worked in this genre space before, approaches the material less in terms of scares than psychology. He's very interested in the mental space and says, quote, "This film is so much a one-man show. It's quite a contained drama, much like yours.
Yep.
It is a horror film if you want to put a label on it, but the way I see it, it's much more an inner journey of this character." Which also, the one-man show comment makes me think about the fact that these screenwriters did Man on the Moon, which is also very much rests on the shoulders of a central performer. So, a couple of fire foreshadowings that are scattered throughout the film, because obviously that's how his time in 1408 ends.
So good.
Is this a smoking room? We find out it is, very literally.
Yeah.
All of the shots of the matchbook, which is also kind of a Halloween nod, I think,
Yeah.
because
Oh.
Halloween you have all of those matchbook
Okay.
shots. The thermostat overheating, he says
Yeah.
it's burning up in here. The boiling water coming from the tap. There's like a quick shot of the words "burn me alive" written
Yeah.
on the
Yeah,
wall.
yeah.
So it gets breadcrumbs
Yeah.
throughout.
Yeah.
And as far as the adaptation process from page to screen, basically all of the backstory for Cusack's character is created whole cloth for the movie. None of the wife and child and cancer and all of that
Was in there.
that's all from the movie. None of
Okay.
that's from
Yeah.
the book. In the book, there's a lot of talk about the character's brother, who's basically not a thing in this.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
So the cigarette behind the ear, though, does
Yeah.
come from Stephen King. That and the whole, it's in case of nuclear war thing. Is
Oh,
a
okay.
very Stephen King touch.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
The short story also ends differently, but we'll get there.
Okay, yeah.
And Mike's monologue about hotel rooms being naturally creepy places when he's like first checked in and he's looking around and he's like, "This is all you
I
got?"
know, it's so funny.
It's so funny. That monologue is taken almost word for word from King's introduction to the short story in the book.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's cool.
all
It
the
seems
stuff
very
about-
Cusack coded.
It does, right?
So,
And it
yeah.
kind of makes sense then hearing it and going, "Oh yeah, of course that's Stephen King." All the stuff about like how many people were sick here before you, how
Yeah.
many people died.
Damn.
And a little Dante tid, the seventh circle of hell, which Mike references jokingly, is the one that suicides and people who committed acts of violence are sent to. So it's the one that a lot of the ghosts of the room
Yeah.
would be in, if we are to believe Dante.
I love the way you said that. If we are to believe Dante.
I personally have my doubts.
Yeah.
but-
It seems a little fishy to me.
I don't know, 14th century Italian guy. Why am I supposed to trust him about the afterlife? I might even be getting
Oh
the
my
century
God.
wrong. I don't know.
Who cares?
It's been a long time since I last read Dante, okay? Production budget. Do you want to take a
Oh my gosh.
guess?
You say, well, now I'm gonna cheat. You said mine was more than
Yours is more.
That's wild.
I
to
know,
me.
it's shocking.
Because yours
It's so much
is
happens to that room.
So also just the beginning shots are some of the most
Yeah.
gorgeous
It's
shots I've seen in a movie that have
beautifully shot
no
movie.
right
To be that
being
pretty.
in this movie.
It's like
and no one's talking about it.
it's like almost obnoxiously cinematic.
Obnoxiously even their like helicopter, like obviously not drone, like those
Yeah.
are gorgeous.
I know. Yeah.
So it makes me sick that mine actually costs more. I'm gonna cut it in half and say 15 to 20.
Not quite that much less. It's actually they're pretty close. Mine was 25. So you're just
okay.
3 mil
Okay.
more.
Whew.
Dana made me think it was a lot.
Yeah, damn,
higher.
Dana, same. Dana, you made me doubt
You
myself
tricked
too.
us. And it shoots from July 10th to October 14th.
That makes sense, actually. That makes sense.
They have
There's a lot going on.
3-month run.
It's like 5 movies in one movie.
It really is. There's some work in LA, obviously. You can pretty
Yeah.
much tell what the LA stuff is. There's some work at the Roosevelt Hotel in New York for some of the exterior shots of the dolphin. But the vast majority of production happens in the UK, which just feels
Oh,
weird,
we're hopping
right?
back over the pond, huh?
Mhm.
Damn.
Mostly at Elstree Studios, which put a pin in Elstree.
Elstree. Okay.
The lobby of the hotel is shot at the Reform Club in London, which the Reform Club
wonder.
started
Okay.
out as an all-male political club in the
Of course it fucking did.
1800s that apparently was one of the first such clubs to begin allowing female members in
Oh.
1981.
I was going to say is that, yeah,
Womp
listen, we didn't get a
womp.
lot of our fucking rights
Yeah.
until like,
Truly. We
even-
didn't own credit cards until the 70s.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even that. I mean, you still to have someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So, just
Don't let
shouting
me-
out
don't
the
let me
UK's
get on
fucked
that
up. Cast and crew. Cusack's casting is the first to be announced in March of 2006.
Oh.
So, just a couple months before shooting starts. Then Jackson gets announced in April. And in June, it's announced that Kate Walsh from Grey's Anatomy is going to play Cusack's ex-wife. But then in August, more than a month after the start of production, it's announced that scheduling conflicts with Grey's Anatomy have come up, and Mary McCormack has to take over from Kate. So that role gets recast like partway into production.
Oh.
Apparently, she'd taken the project knowing that there might be conflicts and that
Just seeing if.
yeah,
But God,
she-
Grey's
she-
Anatomy is still fucking going. So
I know. Well, and like she'd basically taken it. They'd warned her, like, the Grey's Anatomy schedule is going to have to take precedence. You're under contract for us. And she was like,
Yeah.
we're going to find a way to make it work.
Oh.
Takes it under that assumption.
And then
then
they're
it-
like months of
yeah,
filming.
yeah.
How who's she on Grey's Anatomy? Do you know?
I don't remember.
I know that name. Anyways, that's
Kate Walsh. Not sure.
Yeah.
It's alleged that Keanu Reeves was briefly attached to the project, but I've not found anything good to back that up. So
That would've
just
been great.
tossing that out there. It very much feels like Keanu Reeves and John Cusack are in like the same actor box.
Yeah,
to
they're
me.
like very wildly different
Wildly
performance would
different,
have gotten from, but
but
I would have
yeah,
believed
I can
his
understand
performance.
why you would put him in the same category.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson points out in a behind-the-scenes interview I found that the film plays really well off of his and Cusack's very contrasting acting styles. And I brought in a quote from
sure.
him where he says, if you asked the majority of the editors who've worked on films that I've done, from take to take, you could probably lay them over each other and you'd see me do the same action. John does something
yeah.
different every time they say action. It's fun to have my consistent energy and his kind of manic energy as Mr. Insulin bouncing around
There
the
you
room.
go.
There's
There's the
Mr.
quote.
Insulin.
That's so funny. I didn't realize Samuel L. Jackson was that consistent. John
Yeah.
Cusack, it
Makes
doesn't
sense.
surprise me.
Yeah.
He's very flaily.
Although I'll also say, to Sam Jackson's credit, I watched some behind the scenes footage of them like running takes of the lobby scenes, and
Yeah.
like he does everything on the same, like he's in the same place delivering his line for consistency, but he gives different readings.
Yeah,
He's not
yeah.
the same every time.
He's so
Anyway,
good.
also about casting Sam Jackson, that was a Tarantino suggestion.
Of course it was.
That was a Quentin Tarantino
Shut up.
suggestion because obviously Quentin Tarantino and the Weinsteins real buddy.
Yeah.
And Bob Weinstein showed him the script while they were still casting, and Tarantino's like, you should get Sam Jackson.
Wow.
And
Interesting.
the director and Sam both comment on the fact in interviews that in the short story, Olin is described as this short, kind of chubby white European dude. And Sam Jackson finds this hilarious.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
that is not me.
Yeah. In any way.
In any way. But as Cusack puts it, I thought this was so well put. He says, quote, if an English bellhop tells you don't go in that room, you think, all right, I'm going to go in the room.
Yeah.
But if Sam Jackson says don't go in that room, you don't want to go in that room.
Yeah.
Something about Sam, he's a good crib keeper.
Oh, that's funny. He is.
He
I mean,
is.
that whole scene, and even just the editing of their back and forth
Oh,
in
I
that
know.
office.
It's
I mean, you're
so
so like
good.
you're
Yeah.
sitting there like this. And the contrast of them is like, yeah, you're like, I believe that he is looking out for my best interest in this, not to go in this
I
room.
100% trust him when he's saying, I don't want to clean up the mess.
Yeah.
Like, that delivery is so chilling.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, so good. Wow. That's funny.
And talking about the actor-director relationship, I brought in a fun quote from director Mikhail, where he says, quote, as a director, you are an audience before there is an audience. This goes to what you were talking about. And it's important to have that trust situation with an actor. And I felt that John trusted me as his audience. In many cases, we had the same instinct, or we combined our instinct. I'm not afraid of actors, and I'm not afraid of actors having a strong opinion.
Oh,
Which, like, mwah,
yeah.
I love that. And especially
truly.
when you are doing this, like, one-man show, it's all
Yeah.
John Cusack and the camera for
Yeah.
3/4 of the movie. You
Oh.
really need that working relationship to be
Absolutely.
so collaborative.
I love that. I thought it
Um,
was good for him on
Right?
both these.
Very charming.
Yeah.
And they shot primarily chronologically up to some of the really FX work, heavy work at the end.
I would imagine,
You kind of need to,
because I
right?
can't imagine, like, also just going from one mental state to another, like,
Psychologically, and again, especially when you
keeping
have
track.
nobody to react to, it's just
Yeah.
you and the wall cracking. Like, that-
you and the wall cracking. That's so
Which
true.
of us is gonna crack first?
Listen, me and the wall are also.
Yeah, the same. But the very first thing they shot was Cusack entering 1408 for the first time. That was their first day of production,
that's
which I
so
love.
fun.
I love it when a schedule is really well planned to give
Mhm.
the best performance. That's so satisfying.
Just like excited and eager to be there.
Cinematographer is Benoit Delhomme,
Yeah.
who shot The Theory of Everything. The oh my god, not Stephen King. What's his name? Scientist Stephen. Wheelchair. Oh my gosh.
Hawkins?
Stephen Hawking. The Stephen Hawking movie.
Hawkins?
Yeah. Stephen Hawking movie. The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, Scent of Green Papaya, and a whole lot of Dior spots.
God.
So he is
like
not a horror dude, but like a very
Yeah, I was gonna say hair
yeah,
flip is exactly
yeah.
like it's very I don't know if that was intentional that you did that.
Oh no, that was. Yeah.
Okay.
He's a very hair flip kind of cinematographer.
Very like wow.
I also
Him.
I should have checked this, but I saw in his title card credit he was listed as AFC, which I think is the French Cinematography Society.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
I believe might be our first French cinematographer. And obviously set design and PD. We've got to talk a lot about that for this movie.
Yeah, please.
Production designer is Andrew Laws. What a fascinating career. This guy did I Love You Man.
Great movie.
Yes. The Witcher.
Huh.
The number 23. Yes Man, the Jim Carrey
Oh my god,
movie,
he's really bouncing around.
and The Right, back with this director again, the Anthony Hopkins movie. So like you just cannot pin the vibe of this guy down.
Jesus,
but, like
that's weird.
strong stuff across the board.
Yeah.
And while it uses a combination of practical and computer effects, it was way more practicals than I was expecting.
I believe it. It looks like it. Yeah.
Especially again, 2007, we were not that good at like water and fire.
That's
by
what
this
that's
point.
what we were saying too.
Like we did not have this on lock. That's pretty much I couldn't find out as much about the fire shots, but the water shots, all real. And we're gonna talk quite a bit about them actually in a second.
Even the frame one?
Yeah.
I mean, it looked real.
They also, oh my gosh, the things, they had to build so many different versions of this room. They had to build, they constructed an entire version of room 1408 that was on hinges so that they could tilt it 45 degrees.
Oh my god, I want to be on these sets.
I know! It's so
That's
satisfying.
so
There's like these
cool.
great behind the scenes videos of like John Cusack in between takes and he's just like standing, leaning all the way forward to keep from falling over. He's like, is that one good?
Yeah.
It's so funny.
That's cool.
They also had a version on a hydraulic lift that could be mechanically lowered 6 meters into an underwater tank for the storm sequence. 6 meters, that's 18 feet.
Yeah.
That's a deep tank.
Jesus Christ. That's actually kind of terrifying to think about.
And about this, there's some great, they clearly had a BTS crew on set for that day. So there's a lot of shots of them doing the tank work. And there's a hilarious quote from director Mikhail who says that, quote, actors like this, and picture this with a very thick Swedish accent that I'm not even going to attempt. Actors like this because they can get wet and they can swim around and they can scream.
Okay.
And like I was watching this
because
and
they
I was
can't
like,
do that any other time,
right? I was watching this and I was like, I'm sure he's being sarcastic, right? And then it cuts to the footage of John Cusack in the tank and he's got the biggest smile on his face.
Because he probably doesn't get to do stuff like that. You know what I mean? He does a lot of like rom-com or
totally
these weird kind of.
So he's like there in a wetsuit
like,
and like they call a cut and he just goes over and he starts like swimming over to high five everybody. He's having a great time.
I
It's
love
so
how
cute.
I love Happy Cusack.
I know. Well, and just it's so amazing to know that shot the lift up as in the middle of that storm sequence and it looks like he's just out in the middle of the ocean. That's real.
That's wild.
That's real. That's not CG.
They picked where to put CG very
so
carefully
well.
in this.
And honestly, there was only one place that I could really see it, and it was at the very end of one of the alt endings, which we'll get to. In the cut you and I both watched, there was no moment where it was like, oh, that's obviously CG.
Yeah. It's so good.
I am assuming the fireballs coming out of the windows seen from the ground at the end are CG.
Yeah.
But it's
not
so
even CG.
small.
I wonder if it was like
It could have even been a miniature, honestly.
Sure.
That's possible.
Sure.
I'm not sure. But
Yeah.
I couldn't find info about that. But given the fact that they built a 18-foot hydraulic lift, like
God, they spent their money well.
really did. Yeah. And you can tell from those when the hotel room is burning, you can tell those are real flames. The way they're like licking at the corners of things. You can't fake that shit.
No.
Even today we can't really fake that shit. Back then we definitely couldn't.
That's wild.
And it helped a whole lot that the production design team and the visual effects team worked together from the beginning to build the look of the room. So
That's
all
what you
of the
gotta
details,
do.
they worked on together.
Yeah.
Which that's
That's the only way to do it. We've talked
Mhm.
about it before too, that they say if it doesn't work, it's because they came on
Yeah.
later in the process.
Exactly. Going
So,
back to the Howling, it's like if
yeah.
you bring somebody on
Yeah.
last minute,
Yeah.
you're setting them up for failure.
Yeah.
So now we can pull our pin out of Elstree Studios
Oh
because
yeah.
if Elstree
Yeah.
rings a bell,
When have we talked? We talked about
it's
it.
because it's where The Shining shot.
Oh.
And this is alleged, but I found it from a whole lot of sources that I trust, and so I think it's pretty likely we can say this is true. You know, at the very end when the firemen are breaking down the door to
Mhm.
get in, they used Jack's axe from The Shining.
Shut up.
Because they still
Shut
had
up.
it on location
Shut
at
up.
Elstree Studios.
They're
and
like,
they're
hey,
like,
do you guys want this?
yeah, they're like, you're making a Stephen King movie on Elstree's set.
Oh, that's really cute.
Isn't that so sad? So, like, I choose to believe that's true.
I'm
And
gonna
also,
say that's true, too.
Yeah, and also, I mean, I checked it, and it is the same studio.
Yeah.
I believe they used the same soundstage. So, like, there's good reason to believe that one.
That's really sweet. I'm gonna
I
believe
know.
it.
Isn't that great?
It's headcanon.
And just a fun little PD note. The booze that Olin offers Mike,
Yes.
that's super fancy and $800 a bottle, is called Les 57 décès, which means the 57 deaths.
Because he's 57.
Because he's number 57.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's planned from the beginning.
Oh my gosh.
The hotel is already working.
Decided. God,
working
both these
its
are
magic.
so similar in that way.
Mhm. Music is by Gabriel Yared, who did such big stuff. He
Oh.
did Betty Blue, Camille Claudel, The Talented Mr. Ripley, The
Oh.
English Patient, The Lives of Others, Vincent
Wow.
and Theo. So like very Oscar-y
Yeah,
stuff.
wow.
And very like romantic stuff. Like there's not a horror movie in those.
Yeah.
I'll also shout out for any FX makeup fans out there that the makeup artist from this film posted a full 10-minute step-by-step tutorial for the Kevin O'Malley character, the one who is the first victim of the room who
Oh.
tried to stitch himself up after
Yeah.
cutting his throat. You can watch the full
Wow.
tutorial, search Room
A
1408,
tutorial.
official film makeup tutorial Paul Casey / Kevin O'Malley.
Oh,
I watched the
bless
whole thing.
them.
And fascinatingly, this actually kind of weirdly goes back to my question from last episode about American Werewolf in London, where it was like, how did they do the jawbone?
Mhm.
And you were like, it's a puppet, Siena.
Yeah.
I found out on this one how they actually added a fake jawbone to the actor's face, because you see
Oh.
very little of Kevin O'Malley, but I think they shot more footage of him that ended up getting used. Because so basically what they do, they have a jawbone piece, like
Mhm.
a makeup jawbone, attached to a flesh-colored lycra balaclava that they pull over the actor's head, glue it in
Yeah,
place,
yeah.
and then cut off the balaclava around it so that it's still stuck there.
Yeah.
And then there's like a fake lower lip and chin that gets placed over that to put another attachment point. So
Sure.
his entire face is
Fleshy
is
balaclava.
fake, basically.
Wow.
Fake face.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was just
That's
like
cool.
so
That's really
satisfied
cool.
seeing that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we get to the alternate endings. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. This is
That's
like
so
the
funny.
real meat of this episode. And there are two parts to it. There's what are the alternate endings, and
Mm.
there's why are the
Ah.
alternate endings. And we need to get deep into the weeds with both of them. So, what are the 4 different versions of
Okay.
the ending of this movie? 1, the theatrical ending, which
Yes.
both you and I watched.
Mhm.
In this one, Mike burns down the room but survives after being rescued by firefighters. He reconciles with his wife, finds the tape recorder among some of the belongings just recovered from
was,
the burned
yeah.
wreckage,
And
and
hear the
plays it
kid.
back. And he and his wife both hear Katie's voice on the tape, and so they both
So
now
creepy.
have some kind of confirmation that what happened was
Was
real.
real. Yeah.
And Cusack's face is so good at the end. This kind
I
of
had
combination of like,
chills.
I was right, and also this means it's not really over.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
it means
There's
that
something-
there's something still that I don't think that haunting is over.
Yeah.
Put a pin in that.
Yeah.
But so that's version 1. That is the one that we saw. That's the one that anybody in theaters saw. Version 2 is a variation on the theatrical ending. This is not the director's cut, so hold on to your hats
Okay.
for that. This
Oh
is
my God.
another one. In this one, everything is the same as the one we watched, except that Lily does not hear Katie's voice on the recorder. Only John Cusack does. And so his experience is
Oh.
confirmed, but he can't share it with her.
Oh, that's
Ugh.
horrible.
Yeah. So that's
She feel crazy.
more depressing.
Yeah.
Fun, interesting. I don't think it needs to be the actual ending, but
Yeah.
fun to know that that one was shot. Then we get number 3, the quote-unquote director's cut
Okay.
ending. In this one, Mike dies before the firefighters can rescue him, and we see his funeral. We see Lily, Olin, and Mike's publisher are there, and Olin tries to give a box of Mike's personal effects recovered from the wreckage to Lily, but she doesn't want to take it. She's like, I don't
gotta close
I
this
don't want to
chapter.
remember him like
Yeah.
that. So Olin takes the box back to his car, opens it himself, takes out the recorder, and Olin starts listening to it. He hears Katie's voice on the tape,
Ooh,
and
chills.
then he looks out the
Oh,
rear
God.
view window of the car and sees a
there's-
little girl walking through the cemetery calling for her dad. And then he looks back in his mirror, looks back in the back seat, and jump scared, the charred ghost of Mike suddenly appears in the back seat.
Of course it does.
He checks again, the ghost is gone, and the little girl's father has come to take her hand. They walk away together. Then we cut back to the charred rubble of the room. Mike is smoking in there. He's like kind of transparent, clearly a ghost. And he hears Katie calling to him and he turns around and starts walking towards the door.
God, that's so much for that one.
It's
I'm like cut to just him hearing the hearing the thing, and then cut to he's smoking in the room.
Yes. So we'll get to this in a second, but after I give you all the different versions, I want to hear what your ideal ending would be.
Okay, yeah.
That's the only one where I saw like an obviously CG shot, which is like that ending with Mike walking. It very clearly looks like they couldn't go back to the set and just kind of painted it onto a green screen behind him. So that's like
pretty bad.
And then number 4, a variation on the director's cut. This time, we don't see the funeral. Instead, we get sounds from the funeral superimposed over these shots of the LA skyline. Then we see Lily and Mike's agent going through his personal effects, so Tony Shalhoub. And then Tony Shalhoub goes back to New York, and a manuscript based on what Mike was writing in the room mysteriously shows up at his office, even though obviously he couldn't have written anything. And who sent this? Maybe whoever sent the postcard. We don't know. Question mark. He starts to read the manuscript as we hear sounds from the room playing over it. And then the doors of the office slam shut, and we hear the voice of Mike's father saying, "As you are, I was. As I am, you will be." So that's the darkest version, which is basically just like everybody dies, the room has not been defeated, nothing good has come of this. And then number 5, bonus fifth ending. So
bonus Jonas.
I wasn't lying when I said that there were 4 filmed versions, but then there's also the ending to the short story, which is different from all of that.
Right.
And so that's why I went back and read the King short story. I was like, I need to know how this actually ended, especially knowing that it wasn't originally intended to have an ending. So in King's version, totally different from all of the 4 we've just heard.
Okay, cool. Buckled in.
King's version. Mike sets just his own shirt on fire. That's all he manages to set on fire, and manages to run out of the room screaming for help. Another guest on floor 13 douses him in ice from a bucket, saving his life. His agent listens to the tape, hears a whole lot of creepy Mike babbling on it, and decides to lock it away in a safe and forget about it. Mike swears off of all writing, is like, not only can I not write horror, I cannot write anymore because this has traumatized me too much. He only, though, remembers pieces of what happened in the room. He's not entirely sure what happened to him. He spends months in the hospital, has to undergo reconstructive surgery, and is trying to piece this together. But it's enough to have him sleeping with the lights on and taking all of the phones out of his house because he's terrified that if he picks up a phone, he's going to hear the voice of the front reception lady on it.
Which is so good.
And as King puts it, I brought in a really creepy quote from it. Quote, this isn't even the last line of it, but it's on the last page. He says, he knows he isn't the first person to escape 1408 without really escaping. Olin tried to tell him. So it's the sense of he lived, but that room is not defeated and goes on. Which is so terrifying to me. And again, it's especially fascinating remembering that it was never supposed to have an ending, almost like it's kind of an unendable story.
Yeah, for sure.
But as far as the film is concerned, how and why do these alternate endings get made?
Yeah,
So,
like made
yeah,
too, not
like
just
again,
thought of.
you can look them up on YouTube. You can watch
Oh, I'm going
all
to.
of
Oh,
these.
sick.
They're very easily findable.
Okay.
There's even videos that have like all of them in a row, so
Oh,
you can watch
great.
back to
Okay.
back.
Yeah.
So the rumor at the time, and I imagine that this is largely based on them getting labeled the theatrical cut versus the director's cut,
Sure.
is that the director's cut was the original intended ending where he dies, and that it was made more positive after test screenings reacted poorly. However, that is
A lie?
entirely wrong in every respect.
Oh.
And we have director Mikhail to back us up on this.
Hell yeah.
So last
Mikhail.
year, he went on Fangoria's Kingcast doing an episode about 1408, and
Ugh.
he had some debunking to do.
Oh my gosh. Last year he did
Yeah,
this? Oh,
yeah.
sick.
So this is like
super
pretty
recent.
new. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So, first of all, the happier theatrical cut, the version we both saw, was the first ending shot. The director's cut was not the one he shot first, which is what that rumor's based on, that idea.
Yeah.
And it was the one that he was aiming to use from day one. He was intending on the theatrical cut. So then in post-production, they're doing some additional photography. They've got a couple other things to shoot. That's very common, especially when
Yeah.
you have as many effects as this
Oh my gosh,
does.
yeah.
There's probably a couple things that you need to go back and get other stuff for. And so, here's a quote from Mikhail. He says, quote, "I remember talking to Bob Weinstein at the time, and we said, maybe for fun we can experiment and do an alternative ending and see how that does." It's an experiment.
They're just playing around.
They're
like,
just having fun.
we got a couple mil that you can.
Yeah, literally.
Here, take $1 million more and just have some
Literally.
fun. Oh,
I don't know
wild.
all the details now, but it was not that it didn't test well, that ending. It had nothing to do with that. I think that we were after something a little scarier. It's kind of neat, and it had a really good jump scare, that moment where you see Mike's burned
in the
body
back.
in the back. We tested it, and the audiences were jumping out of our seats when Enslein's sitting in the back seat.
Of course.
But we came to the conclusion, and the audience helped us come to the conclusion, that the emotional ending was more rewarding. It was stronger and much more emotional. The other one was worse. It had a couple of good moments, but this was more right for the film, so that's where we ended it. We chose to keep the original ending, and then when they made the DVD, one of the DVDs, they called it the director's cut. It was never his cut to begin with. He was just playing around with a couple extra million.
Oh my God.
So this is another case where the director's cut isn't even the director's preference.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Audiences are super split on which is the best ending, though. There are virulent defenders of our version. There are virulent defenders of the other.
Yeah.
And it's really, it seems very 50-50 from what I read on the internet. And I think that's probably a lot of why the reviews are a little bit lower, is people may have seen an ending that didn't work as well for them.
Yeah.
There is also, though, a fan theory I'll shout out that Mike actually did die in the surfing accident in the beginning of the film, and the entire movie is just him journeying through Dante's Circles of Hell, which is very Jacob's Ladder.
I know. Which I kind of like love.
I kind of love that.
Yeah,
I'm
it
kinda
kind of
satisfied
feels
with
that way
It very
in my
much
opinion.
does. Yeah. So now I want to hear what Al's ideal version is.
Oh my gosh. It's funny. As you're saying stuff, I'm trying to like piece together, like, if I could
I like
should
this,
I pick
I don't
one
like
that
this.
should I pick one that exists?
No. Tell me your ideal version that the story ends, whether it's one that exists.
I have
or
a
not.
question
Yes.
first.
Al's
there
stalling
rules
everybody.
that, so say the obviously like the room is gonna exist outside, right? Because it like, does the room, saying the room burned down, I like the room burning down being gone, but like it's not gone, does it live out, can it live outside of that room? Like where
The Stephen King story implies that it does.
does.
I will
So I would mash up a few things.
Give me a mashup, because I'm the same. I'm like, I want pieces of each.
Yeah, because I agree with the audiences that although a jump scare is fun,
it's not.
it hurts at the end.
Yeah.
Like it makes me weepy.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Which is so
awful.
unexpected, but I'm just like, oh my God, to like, so I like the emotional trauma that we go through. So I would love if there was something like, I almost want it to be like, we don't know, like he dies, but we like, it's not really like shown.
Clear,
It's like he's dragged out, but we don't know if he's like
we don't see the
alive or
moment
not.
where he's like, don't go into that room,
Yeah,
it's evil."
yeah. So he gets dragged out, whatever. I wanted to like cut to like the wife like packing boxes, and then she like finds the tape, or like what's his name like drops it off, like, I'm so sorry for your loss. This is what we recovered. So then you're like, okay, he's dead. And I want her, like, it would either be like she, is digging through stuff and she like decides to play it like at the very last, and like it's either she hears the daughter, or she doesn't hear the daughter's voice at first on the tape and then she does, cuts black, or she doesn't hear, she just hears him, is kind of distraught, the phone rings, she picks up and it goes mommy, and then it cuts.
Love. She picks up the phone,
or
with
like
the
maybe she hears him
receptionist or
too,
something.
yeah, like,
Ooh,
you know what I mean, like,
yeah.
so you know that they're like together, but that they're still in this like hell. So I don't know,
that
I
gives
gave
me
myself chills.
Ooh, look
So
at that.
yeah, because I like the emotional trauma, but I like the aloofness, because it hurts and you want them to be together.
Yeah.
But I kind of almost want it to end where you don't even get to see these two at the end.
Yeah.
You get to see this woman that you don't give a fuck about, but like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Very Inception ending, I suppose.
Oh,
but
love.
what do you want?
This
is fun. We should do this more.
Tell them how they should have made
Yeah,
the movie.
yeah.
Segment. So here's what my ideal
Yeah.
mix and match of the different elements is. I'm not a great fan of the wife, I'll be honest.
Oh no, she's no one cares about
No
her.
one
That's
cares
what I'm
about
saying.
her. She's
Yeah.
like a plot point, and like she's a useful plot point. But especially after having watched the quote unquote director's cut and seeing Sam Jackson's reaction to the tape, the performance he gives.
Oh yeah, we could bring him back around.
Is so
Yeah, 'cause
incredible.
we don't see him again after.
We don't see him again. And that's the part that I really liked about the theatrical cut, is that Sam Jackson comes back and does amazing. And so what I want is
There could be a sequel with Sam Jackson.
what I want is like in the Stephen King novel, he survives but doesn't manage to destroy the room.
Yeah.
And doesn't remember everything and is haunted by it, and then he comes back to talk to Sam Jackson, not to his wife, because we don't know who she is. I'm sorry, I get that that's who's important to the character, but in terms of who's important to the narrative,
Sure,
it's Sam Jackson. That's who feels
it is kind
like
of a bummer we don't see him
person
again
to me. Yeah, we get like 10 minutes of him, and they're amazing.
The best 10 minutes.
They're the best 10 minutes, and this is a really good film, but like that's the person who has the best chance of understanding what he's been through, because nobody else has ever survived the room, right?
Yeah.
And so what I want is for him to come back with the tape recorder being like, I don't have all of these memories, I'm trying to piece together what happened, but I'm like too scared to listen to it alone. And for it to be kind of like a combination of the two endings where he and Sam Jackson listen together, and at first Sam Jackson doesn't hear the daughter's voice, but then he does at the very end, cut to black.
I like that we both kind of like that, like, doesn't hear it at first and then hears it.
Yeah, that's what I want.
I mean, you could swap out the wife for Sam Jackson too, that he maybe like the wife doesn't, we know, like, I don't know, or he like maybe it's one last mailbox shot or something, or like he goes to reach for the key and there's the thing instead.
Oh my god, he pulls out the tape recorder.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah,
That's good, Al.
And he gets a call. It's a receptionist.
Hello. Are you ready to check out?
Yeah, he's like, and then I love that we both love the just ominous.
Yes,
cut, but
I do not want to go back into the room, and honestly, I don't like the room being destroyed. I feel like that room is undestroyable.
Right.
You know, like I don't, which maybe that's part of the point, is we're not supposed to trust that it was really destroyed, but like I don't want to even see it getting destroyed.
They could bring someone, do like, not that I love
a sequels,
but
I do feel like there's more in this story.
There's like something that they could rejuvenate this and like have Sam Jackson back.
Yes,
he's worked that, and maybe
Sam
like,
Jackson,
and maybe like it's people like me and you, podcast people, going to like wanting to do an episode on the room.
Oh my god, like an Only Murders in the Building.
Maybe it's because I just finished that. But there's a way to rejuvenate it and have him still, or like maybe he doesn't work there, but like he gets a call. Like, I don't know.
Like Dr. Sleep it. What Dr. Sleep did for The Shining.
Which I finally watched.
Oh my gosh. I still haven't seen it.
I finally watched.
Is
First half slow.
Is it worth watching?
It picks up.
Okay.
I don't know. I love The Shining too much.
It's that's such a,
I don't know.
Which I think is part of why this film could be sequelized, is like it's not so perfect that you don't want to touch it.
Yeah.
It's got enough room of like there's space for it to grow still,
Yeah,
I feel
it could
like.
be its own thing. So anyways,
Yeah,
I
love that.
loved it and
Love.
interesting about all the
Um,
endings.
so now we go into the release. We're rounding the
Oh yeah,
corner
yeah,
here,
yeah,
but we
yeah.
need to hear.
Sorry,
No, no, no,
we really
no.
derailed for a second.
No, that's exactly what I wanted to do.
Okay.
Because again, that's like the meat of what I was able to find about this film is all of the difficulty figuring out how to end it. So,
Yeah,
how does this get released? How is the reception?
yeah. So
Comes out
curious.
on June 22nd, 2007, which feels like a weird time of year for this, but whatever. But it does really well. Like, shockingly well at the
Really?
box office and in critical reception. Especially given how much it to me has a reputation as kind of like an underappreciated Stephen King gem. Like, I feel like it's on a lot
Yeah.
of lists of best Stephen King movies you haven't watched type of thing. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Well, because it
Um,
wasn't
it's
like
not,
works, like
yeah,
it was supposed to be just an example of
right,
something. So of course,
right.
yeah, of course.
It's not even it's not from a novel, it's from a short
Yeah,
story.
yeah.
So do you want to take a guess how much this
Jesus
earns?
Christ. Blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna say 125 mil.
You're so close. Look at
130.
that. 132.9
Damn,
on
sick,
a 25 million budget. So it does
sick.
so well. Makes
That's
just shy of
insane.
72 million domestically, including Canada, and 61
Oh
internationally.
wow, it's pretty split.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. So it does incredibly well.
Yeah.
Holds, as you said, a 79% from critics on
Yeah, which
Rotten
is
Tomatoes, which like
crazy for this kind of movie.
yeah, I'm honestly shocked that it got that
Same.
reception. And a 61% from audiences.
Boo.
I know. I think that a lot of this has to do with the fact that I think a lot of audiences saw the director's cut. But we're about to get to that. So, more of a critics movie than a crowd pleaser. I also think part of this is due to the fact that this is a PG-13 movie.
Wow.
Isn't that shocking?
Yeah.
Like
pretty
this
brutal.
movie viscerally upsets me on so many
Yeah.
levels.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's no gore, but it's
Oh, it's pretty
really
messed up movie.
mentally intense.
Yeah.
And so I think maybe that's part of it, and that it doesn't have the kind of giant bloody set pieces that
Sure.
people coming to a Stephen King adaptation might
Sure.
want. And I think in the horror space, understated stuff tends to do better with critics and with audiences. But here's kind of a representative positive review from Mick LaSalle in the San Francisco Chronicle, where he says, 1408 is one of the good Stephen King adaptations, one that maintains its author's sly sense of humor and satiric view of human nature. This is the old stuff, the good stuff, the tried and true stuff of shrewdly accomplished audience manipulation. Laugh at the obviousness of it all, I did, and yet include yourself in the joke because there's no walking away from this one. And I think that's such a good way of putting it, is it's like you can
Yeah.
see what it's doing, but it's also making fun of itself the whole way. So
That's
that,
what you kind of kicked it off with too. Yeah, there's such
Yeah.
an interesting sense of humor to
Like,
this movie.
that moment where he walks in and goes, "This is it," is
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
That's just perfect.
Even some of his terror screams when he's like in the
Yeah.
corner. I'm just like the
like he's
comedy
kind of
his...
funny.
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
because he's such an asshole. The character is such an
Yeah,
asshole
yeah.
that like you don't have the same sense of like, I can't bear to see this person get hurt
Yeah,
on screen.
no.
There's like a little bit of a Three Stooges, like I kind of want to watch him fall down a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Quality to it.
Yeah, get what's coming to him kind of thing.
On the other side of the review spectrum, for the negative
no.
reviews, you basically just get a whole lot of, well, it's no The Shining, which is like,
What a weird fucking thing to say.
I
But fine.
know. And
Okay.
like, I was thinking about this and I was like, how many horror films would not stand up if that was the criteria you were
Also,
giving
why are we
them?
holding it to one thing? Like, are
Yeah.
we gonna say it's no Pet Cemetery?
Right. Like, I mean, Amityville Horror is no The Shining. The
Yeah.
others is no The Shining.
Yeah, it's
and
such a
those are
stupid
both
thing to
also
say.
movies about, haunted spaces that are deeply creepy, that are deeply appreciated.
It's so
but
weird.
like, that's arguably by a lot of people considered one of
Also,
the
why are
top
you-
3 horror films of all time.
Why are you holding it up and not just looking at what it is?
Exactly. That's always my thing. It's like, it's not fair to I think a lot of
take
what those
something.
reviews are doing is coming to the film going, justified to me why there should be another Stephen King haunted hotel story. And the thing
So
is,
weird. Then let's stop making art altogether. Why do we have more
right.
paintings? We already have some.
We already have
They're
some
already
of
good. Why do we
those.
have more? Why paint more people? We already
Right.
have people.
And like, if you go into a movie asking it to justify why it exists, you're not going to do a very good job engaging with what the movie is.
Yeah, what a lazy
Um,
journalist.
yeah. So, like, again, it's
Lazy
always that,
critic.
like, you have to go back to, does the movie succeed by its own measure?
Yes.
And the movie is not
Yes.
trying to be The Shining.
No.
It's also
Not at
about something
all.
so different. So much of what's frightening, you know, as people who rewatch The Shining a lot, to me, the parts of it that remain scary over time are not the ghost parts. It's Jack being terrible to his family.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that, like,
the slow descent into...
really continues to upset me.
Yeah.
All of the ghost scares are like they're fun the first time and then you know they're
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah.
This film is about a man in isolation, and that is where all the horror comes from. They're
Yeah.
fundamentally different
Yeah,
kinds
dealing with-
of scare.
Dealing with your own demons.
Your own demons, your own mind.
Scariest place.
Truly. And so because this film has all of these different alt endings, there's obviously immediately a lot of fodder for DVD releases. And right off the bat, there's a regular version and a director's cut version. But then in 2008, they stop making the theatrical cut version and start only releasing and streaming the director's cut, the quote unquote director's
Whoa.
cut version.
What happened just
It's
a year later?
It's so weird, right? And so only in 2021, 4 years ago, does the theatrical cut become available on streaming again after the library that it's part of changes hands.
way.
So it's finally actually this coming January, on like January 13th, I think,
Yeah.
getting a 4K re-release of both versions. So if y'all are fans of that, it's just in time. But yeah, the version we saw, the theatrical version, was like almost basically you could find it on YouTube and that was it.
Buried.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that wild?
Weird. Weird.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Very, very odd.
Yeah.
Odd choices
Yeah.
on the Weinstein's part.
Yeah. Do you think it was the ending they really wanted? They're like, oh my god, go film it for fun.
Right?
Like, we'll do it for funsies. They're like, it's ours.
Yeah, literally. Honestly, that's a pretty good guess.
Yeah.
That seems like Weinstein behavior.
It's so weird.
Oh my god, I forgot about this. One of the watch notes that I took was just John Cusack.
Take a laugh.
Jesus Christ. That's amazing. You're like an end of watch notes.
And that's it. Just a couple little horror shout outs. Obviously, we hear one of the victims of the room is Grady Miller. That's a Delbert
Yes.
Grady
Oh,
shout
yeah.
out.
Absolutely.
Clearly Shining reference.
That shower.
Psycho 1 is written on
Yes.
his
Yep.
wetsuit.
Yep.
Let's see.
With the shower shot where it's underneath the Kubrick Shining.
Yep. And the I just wanted to shout out the first time that the camera comes off sticks that you get a steady cam shot is the second he steps off the elevator onto the 13th floor. The camera suddenly tilts a little bit and it's so
God, that
good.
hallway shot.
It's so frightening. And the way it just like loops back around.
Oh,
and
it's so good. It's so good.
So scary. Also, just this isn't like a proper film theory rant corner, but I just wanted to shout out two things. One, that I think these kinds of stories about a place that's inherently evil that is not haunted by a specific presence tend to work especially well on me. And I was thinking about why. And I think that a lot of it is that when there's not like a, oh, it's haunted by this ghost or these ghosts, the way The Shining is, there's so much less of a sense that there's something that used to be human, that once was human, that you can bargain with, communicate to, try and reason with, try to appeal to the empathy of. It's just this sheer evil. And like, it's a lot easier for me to imagine something being just sheer evil. If it's just a place than a person.
Yeah.
I also think that the fact that this film has so many moments of a return to seeming sanity, whether it's
I
you think you're
know.
outside the room or even just you come back to the
Ugh.
room looking normal,
Yeah.
those do so much to keep it being scary
Yeah.
because it gives you those in the same way that humor does.
Yeah.
It gives you moments to recover so that you don't become desensitized
Yeah.
to it. Where
Yeah.
then when it hits you again with the "we've only just
I
begun,"
know.
it's
Just like the
so.
false hope
Mhm.
in
I love
horror
a false hope in a
movies
horror movie.
really plays well
So
on me
good.
too.
Yeah.
Because it's just like that moment of like, yeah, like you said, this relief that you can, as an audience member or as, the main character,
Mhm.
you can take this breath to be like, oh, okay, this is what this feels like,
Mhm.
versus just acceptance, right?
Right.
Where you can
Right.
get to this point of acceptance. It's like, you can't get to that point. It won't allow you to
Yeah.
get to that point.
Mhm.
That's part of its game.
Right.
Is to like yo-yo you back and
Mhm.
forth
It's having
of
fun
like
with
Santa.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
enjoys your
It's like a
hope.
cat playing with a mouse.
Yeah, totally.
Where it's like, oh, you can release for a second, but then I
Mhm.
have your tail again.
Which also makes it feel so much more evil. It really
Oh,
feels like the point is just
sinister.
human pain.
Yeah.
Which I
It's
love. So
it's tough,
scary.
man. Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit of light in
Mhm.
the darkness. I mean, those are some of the movies that affect me the most. I would say like The Descent does that for me too.
We've
We
got to
have
cover
to do
that
that
soon.
one.
We have
As
to.
yeah, the months are dark,
It feels
so
like, I don't know why, but not having seen it, The Descent feels very January coded to me.
yeah.
Like,
Oh
so
yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
sometime in January.
That and
Yes.
like As Above, So Below, I feel like
Ooh,
we could do with some really good.
yes.
Yeah, Travis thumbs on me.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely
Love.
January. But yeah,
Excellent.
I love those. We very much like this. Me and you are so sick of the
We
head.
like the sad horror, the trauma
Yeah.
horror.
Yeah, that's what works so well in this is like
Yeah.
you have hope for them. And I think as like people we want the hope.
Totally.
But man, to just be smacked right in the face
Mhm.
of like there's nothing more
Yeah.
than this.
Yeah, and I think it keeps you on your toes because you don't quite know what the room's ultimate goal is
Yeah.
besides pain. Like it
And that's just might be enough for
Yeah.
the room.
Yeah, and I love that.
It's a fun concept
Mhm.
to sink in, and yeah, it's so fucked
Mhm.
up. It's more fucked up than a lot of yeah.
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 And so just like rounding out by shouting out a couple of the shining parallels that I noticed.
Yeah.
One of the really obvious visual ones is the shot where the wall starts cracking and dripping. That's
Mhm.
very like the hotel doors opening and the blood pouring
Yeah.
out from The Shining. Also done
Even-
practically.
Oh, looks like it. That
Mhm.
crack is like
It's
this is
so
sounds so weird.
great.
That crack in that wall is beautiful.
Oh, it's incredible.
It looks like
very
an art
Crimson
piece.
Peak, actually.
Very Crimson Peak. It also, I would say, like the blood rushing out of elevator
Mhm.
is also the water coming out of the painting.
Very
I mean, it's
much,
just like the
very
way it
much.
slow mo kind of
Mhm.
comes out is so.
There's
beautiful.
obviously a lot of Room 217 parallels
Mm-hmm.
with The Shining. That idea of there's one room that the worst of it lives in.
Mhm.
Frozen Daddy, John
Yeah.
Cusack.
Yeah.
Frozen has a very Jack Torrance Frozen
Yeah.
kind of a vibe to it.
Absolutely.
I noticed this, I know, was not something that was done specifically for the movie because it's what the pattern of the floor in that gentleman's club looks like. But there's a spiral pattern on the floor that looks a lot like the shape of the maze from The Shining from above.
Ooh, sure.
All of those long shots of hotel corridors.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of just like visual
Yeah, kind of
similarities there like that. Also alcoholic fathers trying to deal with their
Oh my gosh,
guilt
yeah.
towards their families, struggling writers, isolation in a hotel. You can see why
Yeah.
people were like, it's no The Shining, but it's also really trying to do something different.
I was gonna say, like, it's funny. That's why I was interested to hear, because obviously there's like very obvious parallels, but there's also like such subtleties that you can watch this movie and, like, for me, I've never actually ever thought about them in the same context.
I
So
love that.
it's interesting. I feel like the next watch I'll do that just
Yeah.
to see, like, to
Totally.
be aware of it. But that's what I love about this is you can watch that, and I think you're doing yourself a horrible disservice of watching this film and enjoying it for
Holding
what
it
it is
up,
if you hold
yeah,
it up to that.
for The
So
Shining. Yeah.
if anyone
So-
else has watched it and done that, don't do that.
Yeah,
watch it once, try to do it.
Try watching it. Try
Yeah.
and wipe The
Yeah.
Shining from your head as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Because I had been worried that this movie wouldn't hold up on rewatch for me because I watched this for the first time around the time that I was first really starting to become a horror fan. I was in high school. It was just before Halloween, and I was sick and I was staying home from school,
Oh,
and I was looking through the
funny.
TV like horror for Halloween section,
Yeah.
and 1408 was one
Huh.
of the ones. And I remember, out of all of the horror movies that I watched in that like sickened haze, this was the only one that stuck in my memory. And so because of that, because it
Ah.
unsettled me to such an extreme degree, I was like, what if I go back and watch it and it's lame?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's always like the scary part. It's been
Yeah.
I've watched Identity so many times compared to
Mm-hmm.
1408, and I was so curious to see like what I remembered, what I felt
Yeah.
towards it, and it just kind of keeps lapping you
Yeah. I almost
with just
I
oh my
almost
gosh.
even liked it better on a second
Yeah.
watch. I
Oh,
really,
that's so
and I
fun.
think part of it is because this time I got the theatrical ending, and I do
Yeah.
think the theatrical ending is better.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah. So I think if y'all,
Gosh.
like me, have not seen this since that period between 2007 and 2021,
Yeah.
go back and watch it so that you can get the experience of seeing it with the director's intended ending, because
Yeah.
it
That's
really
so
does
funny.
feel very different.
Also, if you want a palette cleanser,
Mm-hmm.
I've again, there's been a lot of conversation around depth of field and how everything feels like a
Mm,
Netflix movie because
mm-hmm.
they're being cheap of just blurring out the
Yep.
background
Yep.
essentially. So you just
Mm-hmm.
have all these
Super shallow
close-ups.
close-ups. Yeah.
And yeah, and this movie is the polar opposite and has some of the
Mm-hmm.
most gorgeous, rich,
Yeah.
filled,
Mm-hmm.
lived in
Mm-hmm.
shots I've seen. Again, it doesn't even feel like it belongs in
Yeah.
this movie.
It's
The
also,
locations they found were insane.
and
So
it's so well lit too. And I think
that's what
that's
we
a
were
big part
saying,
of
like
it.
actual
Yeah.
like in scene
Yeah.
lighting.
It's oh my God, what was the word Dana
Motivation.
used? Volumetric lighting, which is when you can
Ooh.
see like the shape of the light, basically. Like
Yeah.
you can see the dust and
Yeah.
all of that stuff. Like it's
Yeah.
so, the
So
light feels thick and like you can wrap your arms
yes,
around it. And I
yes,
love
yeah.
that.
So if you want that to also
Yes.
watch this, it's a
Yeah.
great reset, I feel
Hmm.
like, of the brain that
Yeah.
I
It's
just
really
missed.
sumptuous
Yeah,
visually.
missed
Yeah.
filmmaking like this. So
Yeah.
yeah, these were
This was fun.
good.
This really was
Yeah.
good, like comfort horror.
Yeah,
This was what
thank
we
you, John
needed.
Cusack.
We needed this.
We needed this, honestly, truly.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to these films. So,
Mhm.
yeah, we can talk about our. Do you want to talk
Yeah.
about the next ones first?
Yeah, let's talk
Yeah,
about the next one. I mean,
you
next
have them
up
pulled
is
up.
our holiday special.
Yeah.
Y'all have been asking for at least one of these films for
Yeah.
literal years at this point. We've heard you, it's finally happening.
Yes. Sorry, the holidays come around once a year.
Truly. And we had to get like a couple of obvious ones out of the
Mhm.
way first. But
Yeah.
I'm going to be covering Silent Night, Deadly Night from 1984.
Yeah, and I'm doing Silent Night from 2012.
2012,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which I've seen obviously the original.
Mhm.
I've been dying to watch,
I
and then
haven't
the
watched either
the
of these.
me
Yeah, and
either.
I've heard good things about both
Yeah,
of them. I've heard that
same.
yours is better than mine, actually.
Really?
But,
The poster, the
poster
images
looks
from
really
2012
fun.
look pretty cool.
Yeah, and I
so.
mean, the poster of mine it's very cheesy
so
80s
funny.
slasher, and it's just like Santa Claus climbing down
Yeah.
the chimney with an axe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
really
mine's
great.
like black-eyed.
Yeah, scary,
Santa.
evil
There should be
Santa.
so much blood in mine.
Yeah.
I
Oh, I'm
just
so
know it.
excited.
2012.
Yeah.
Oh.
Feels very Krampus coded.
Yeah,
somehow.
I think
Yeah.
it's going to be very much the vibe of. Excited to
Yeah.
watch Black Christmas again, though, for
Yeah,
an annual.
it feels like it's about, I think this weekend is when I'm gonna break out the holiday horror watches.
Once I get the tree properly set up in the
in the
new
new
place.
spot.
Yeah, so yeah, those will be fun. I'm
Yeah.
excited to do some holiday horror.
Yeah, I always love our holiday specials.
Me
They feel very
too. They're
goofy.
fun. I hope you guys
Yeah.
like them too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah,
Yeah.
we're after this is our first official, like we're gonna be on
We
our
actually
own.
own it. Yeah, which
So
is-
again, if you
It's scary, but also really exciting.
yeah,
Like,
again, you guys shouldn't notice a difference other than
Yeah.
you might get more from us. And if again, we have in our link tree, I think we have a link to support the pod.
mhm.
There's something as little as $3 a month. Again,
Yeah.
if you can do it, we would
$3 a month genuinely
Yeah.
helps.
yeah, genuinely.
yeah.
It helps pay for the subscriptions and
Yeah. 'Cause,
all
like-
the kind of software and
Yeah.
things that we
You know,
need to do.
we're lucky to
this.
have like our mics and stuff we own, but there are things like the platform that we use for publishing all of the episodes we have to pay for, the platform that we're going to be using for recording virtually is a subscription.
Yeah,
So
which
it's
we're
like,
looking to keep that high quality for you guys that watch too. So
we're
we're
going to
gonna
be
do it with
using actual
cameras.
cameras. We're
Yeah,
not
we're using the
using
same cameras that we're on
webcams.
now.
Yeah, so it's filter and all. It's going to
Yeah,
look
yeah,
very
yeah.
similar.
Yeah.
Um,
Try and trick the eye.
yeah.
So yeah, any bit helps. And then we're hoping to do kind of reinstate our Patreon. I'm hoping to
That's
do
my
like
big project.
live things where we can talk
Yeah.
to you guys would be so much fun. And then we'll be respectively doing pop-ups
Yeah.
both now in Detroit and Santa Fe,
I
which will be
also
fun.
desperately want to come visit you in Detroit,
Yes.
obviously. 'Cause
Yeah.
I've only been once, and it really made a big impression on me, and I felt
It's
a lot of love
really,
for it.
yeah, it
So
feels very we've talked about this like early on, very like Santa Fe
there's a lot
in
of
a sense of community.
similarities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So lots of opportunity, but Michigan listeners, I'm coming your way.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anything else? Well
else?
now we have our merch, so we are, because
That's
we're
true.
working on it
Yeah.
personally. We are looking to have those online finally.
Yeah, it's a lot. Honestly, I feel like it's a lot easier for us to figure out online platforms now that we are on our own, because like being part of a company, all of the different payment accounts are tied to much bigger other business stuff, and so like there's a lot more just like hoops to jump through. With just us, it's just like,
We're just gonna fling it out.
Yeah. So
less things to go through.
So we're gonna have merch up for sale online soon.
Or DM us.
Yeah, honestly,
Siena can run
if
stuff
you send
or
me
pick it up.
if you send us a DM in the next couple of weeks, I can just like one-off ship
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And that's another really good way to support us, because
Yeah.
that helps a lot.
It helps a ton. So yeah, we'll post stuff. We'll be able to post stuff, give pricing to you all for that, and then just send out ourselves, which will be really nice. We can write little notes.
It feels like there's so many things that like we've wanted to do but haven't, like, again,
We have
because it's
constraints.
not just ours.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just ours. We felt like we couldn't just like jump into any of those things, and like now we're just kind of like getting thrown into the deep end.
Yeah.
And so like we might as well try out all the fun things that we've wanted to do.
Into the deep end, avoiding the dolphins.
Yes, the rapist dolphins. Swimming towards the sharks.
Yeah, towards the sharks.
Away from the dolphins.
Yeah.
As Spielberg would have intended it.
Yeah. So
what else do we need to tell people?
I think that's kind of it for now.
that's
I think
it.
we'll keep you
Yeah,
guys posted on social. So follow us everywhere at Splice and Splatter. We'll still have TikToks, all that kind of stuff going up. Follow us on there. We can maybe share a little bit more of us on there. And then if you guys want to see anything, just DM us or comment. We're gonna,
especially because we're also just gonna have more time for the podcast.
Yes.
Now it's not like one
Work
fraction
restraint.
of the day. It's now we get to
Whenever
put
we
as much
want.
into it as we want.
Yeah.
And like that, we've always joked from the beginning, like we can't let them know we do it for free.
Yeah.
But like we love this thing, and so it feels good to have the opportunity to give it the space to grow, because like
lots more stuff. So thank you all for listening. Thanks to all the new
Yeah.
listeners. We see you out
Truly.
there popping
Yeah.
up all the time. Thanks also to everyone who's listened to us from the very beginning.
Yeah, because as we've joked about so many times, this was not something that like we planned on starting.
Yeah.
But like, and not something that I think either of us thought was going to continue this
Yeah.
long. And the reason it has is because you all are enjoying it.
Yeah.
And like that
So cool.
it's really cool.
Yeah.
It feels
Yay.
like we found this little horror family. and
So cool.
it's-
So we'll continue.
Yes.
Excited for our next episode.
Yeah, not going anywhere.
Thank you.
Except for physically.
Yeah, physically. Thank you to Warren Langford, who is not here, but he's done our audio.
Yeah, and has taught us how to
So much.
how to spread our wings and fly across those waveforms.
Good job, Siena. So thank you to Siena for also mixing our audio the last few times.
Yeah.
Trav for monitoring everything, and
giving
will
us
continue
thumbs
to
up.
help with us. I'm just here. I'll do more work
Al's
at
the
some point.
mastermind
Listen,
behind
I
all of
trust you
it.
guys to
Yeah.
get it done.
And thank you to Theo Schaefer for playing us out.
Yeah.
And thank you to all of you, and to Holly for being
thank you,
another
Holly.
supporter. Thank you to all of our supporters.
Yes.
I hope some more of you join after this.
And
Until
till
next
then,
time,
thank you for listening
to
to
Splice and
Splatter.
Splatter, the film podcast
Presented
presented
by
by
us.
us, where classic horror
Meets modern gore.
And until next time,
We'll
be right back.